W253DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Oh, yeah.
It's time for Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. The first hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome into Sports Time on a Friday. Bryant and Brett with you in our Family Leisure Studios. We're with you for the next 3 hours and a lot to get to as we get closer and closer to a really busy weekend in the sports world. But like I said, Bryant and Brett with you. Johnny Hill out today. He'll be back with us on Monday. He's down in Mobile with the Senior Bowl. But Brett, how are you this afternoon?
I'm doing great, and I promised you earlier in the week if you like the weather, you would love Friday.
Man.
And as we come on the air in Memphis, Tennessee, 72 degrees.
Oh, man, that's beautiful.
When was the last time it was 72 degrees
Good
when
question.
we came on the air?
Good question. And I mean, in that.
Or 71 degrees warmer than that day. Wow. It was 1 degree.
Yeah, literally. And our buddy Phil, our favorite rodent, he told us that spring is on the way. So that's always good news. No more winter. So that's nice.
Officially very creepy.
Oh yeah. Oh man. A big
old rat and some odd people
with all wearing top hats, and we're listening to an animal. It sounds like something out of like a Stephen King novel or something. It
really does.
I mean, it's very, very
like
creepy.
That mean old dog he had.
That's right. Yeah.
Didn't he have a mean dog?
I think so. Yeah. No.
Stephen King's a huge Boston Red Sox fan.
Is he really? I did not know that.
And at the 2004 World Series in St. Louis, I'm on an elevator. It's me and three other people I don't know. And one of the other three it's Stephen King.
Oh, wow.
And I look at him, and I don't think I was staring, but I look at him again. He goes, "Yeah, I'm who you're thinking I am," and said it like that.
Okay.
Like he was going to stick that big dog on me.
Gotcha, SK. Interesting. Yeah. Don't mess with Stephen King. I mean, I could read his books and tell you not to mess with Stephen King.
I've never read one of his books.
Really? Oh, I like him a lot.
Did he write? Was he Misery? Was he the Kathy Bates crazy character?
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
Did
he? The Shining was him.
I've seen the movie. I didn't read it.
Yeah. Green Mile was him.
What was the dog's name?
I don't know.
Big mean dog.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, no, he's done a lot and really good author. But it's a big weekend around the country and really the sports world, but certainly here with the Tigers back in action tomorrow at noon on CBS, Channel 3, a national game for the Tigers. But it's a big one against Wichita State team that they obliterated just a couple of weeks ago.
They did. They put it on them. Can't expect to shoot like that again, I don't think. But maybe so. In Wichita State in town, back to the Valley for the Tigers in this game. And we know that feeling. The Tigers should win. We're waiting on a point spread. At some point, if we get it, we will do Tiger Bankroll. We hope before we leave today, but we'll do it tomorrow off there. If not, announce the results on Monday.
Yeah, and I'm really curious to see what the line is for this game because it seems very tricky. And obviously, Vegas, there's a reason that, they give away the free golf and all that out in Vegas. They know what they're doing. But when you look at this Tiger team and Lobster, don't forget about the Lobster. But when you look at this team, 4 losses in a row, just had that big spread Monday or Wednesday night and couldn't cover it. But then you look at their last game against Wichita State on the road and ran away with it in the second half. I'm very curious to see where they put this line.
They were 4.5-point favorite in that game. Again, the Tigers have only been underdog 4 times all year.
Crazy.
And when they've been favored at home, 14.5 the other night, 11.5 against South Florida. I mean, that was too. I wonder what those money lines would have paid. 19.5 over South Florida that went to overtime. 7.5 against SMU that was a 3-point game. 20.5 against Austin Peay. 18.5 against Vandy. 3.5 and 2.5 against the ACC opponents around Christmas. A&M was favored over Memphis. That's one of the 4, but they were 2.5-point favorite at Oxford. 30.5-point favorite over Alabama State. The spreads have been huge all year. That's got to start coming down, doesn't it?
Got to. And Brett, a money line bet on on Rice the other night would have been plus 800. USF a couple weeks ago would have been plus 430. According to CBS. I don't know what sportsbook they use, but that's their official odds.
They don't have one like ESPN yet, do they?
No. I think they're partnered. Bets at CBS yet? No. I think they're partnered with like BetMGM or something like that. But yeah, so plus 800 the other night for Rice and plus 430 for USF. Those are some pretty big numbers. Speaking of plus 800, Lakers were like plus 850 last night against the Celtics and won outright. So another big number there. Yeah, I'm really interested to see what the number is tomorrow for Memphis Wichita State.
For the year picking Tiger games, I'm 11-10. Johnny Hill is 10-11. You are 8-13. Last year, a distant memory.
A distant memory, that's for sure. And I told you
on
Wednesday.
Gaming, you can go from who's who to who's
sure
he
can.
Quickly, can't you?
Very quickly. But I told you on Wednesday I was going to give him one more chance. I was going to see what happened against Rice. And again, I'm curious to see what the line is because I really don't know which way I'm going to go in this game.
The Tigers have to play better tomorrow. I don't think you can play much worse than you have the last 80 minutes of basketball.
Hard to get worse than this. I know a lot of people were calling this rock bottom after the Rice game, and
we'll see.
And yeah, we'll see. I mean, some people say it can only go up from here. But
how many times did we come in here mid-May last year saying rock bottom for the Cardinals, and the bottom kept becoming a newer rock bottom.
Oh yeah, and so it can move quick, and so tomorrow's really big for the Tigers, and I think
Cujo is the dog. Thank you, friend of mine sends in Cujo.
Cujo, yeah, that's right.
Sounds like a mean old dog.
It sure does, but no, I mean tomorrow, and I was talking to Dave this morning on his show, and he said that they are having they're doing like an experimental broadcast tomorrow on CBS. They're bringing in John Hollinger.
I saw him last night in the media room at the Grizzlies game.
So supposedly he is going to be
on.
If
looks would kill, I'd be at Brushy Mountain State Prison for murder. I can't stand him.
Supposedly he's going to be on the CBS broadcast tomorrow, and they're going to have like a whole like analytical angle of it.
No.
So it's very interesting. But I do think because I've heard a lot of people say, "Oh man, CBS has to be kicking themselves when they you before the season starts, you go, oh Memphis looks good, Wichita State's gonna be better, like this could be a good game on CBS, and you look up.
No experimentation, just call the game straight.
Oh yeah, you're getting an experiment
like
tomorrow.
Tom Hart and Cole Kubelik and that announced team. Jordan Rodgers wanted to call the game at Fayetteville between Ole Miss and Arkansas a few years ago. Field level, no. Get up in the press box and call the game straight.
Yeah. So I don't know what it's going to look like tomorrow on CBS. I told Dave I'm going to be at the game tomorrow, so I'm going to record it just to see what it looks like. But no, I think a lot of people are going to be tuned in tomorrow to this game nationally because of how, Memphis has become a national story in a very negative way this week because everyone is saying, when is the last time we've seen a team drop like this? And so I think there's going to be a lot of eyeballs wanting to watch this team.
Currently front page at college basketball at ESPN. And this is not a headline you want associated with you in early February. Memphis this season is, again, predictably unpredictable.
Wow. That sums it up pretty perfectly.
And then when you get into the body of it by Lenardi, he says Memphis basketball and a roulette wheel have a lot in common, and here we go again.
Sure do.
That's not great.
No, that is not where you want to be. What, second day of February?
Tigers the first of the last four in. That would be Dayton, according to Joe Lenardi. Nowhere to be found at Jerry Palm.
Oh, really? See, this morning when I looked, Jerry Palm hadn't updated his yet. That is, I hate to see that.
He's updated now and
yikes.
Not to be found.
Yikes. Wow. And I saw it, not an easy game for the Tigers either. If they were to be in that 11 seed Dayton game, they'd be playing, he has them playing Seton Hall in Dayton, which would not be an easy game at all. That would be a very, very tough game.
And a history with Seton Hall.
Yeah. So, it would be interesting. But I don't think, nobody expected to be watching a Dayton game when talking about this year's Tiger team.
Nobody.
I mean, it has been a crazy last 2 weeks.
Have you been to Barking Crow?
Brad, I'm glad. Have you?
No.
We have an updated NIT bracket. Wow,
I'm
glad you brought this up, Brett. Let's see, Barking.
I think I'd rather watch Hollinger than I had go to Barking Crow.
Here we are, NIT bracketology updated today. The Tigers, they have in the Xavier region playing Boise State in the first round of games.
At where?
I guess that would be at Boise State.
Okay.
So they would be the away team at Boise State playing in the Xavier region. So not great.
The week of the NIT games, if they were to be played here, I wonder if how much conflict with the Grizzlies.
That's a good question.
It would be that week, because that often factors sometimes into bracketing.
Sure, yeah, and that might be a real conundrum for them.
And the Grizzlies will have been out of the building's taken that week by
NCAA tournament, so there's no way they could host a NIT. And I think it probably, honestly,
not even early in the week. No.
And honestly, if Memphis goes to the NIT and accepts a bid to the NIT, I think it would be better for them to play on the road in the first game, because I do not think many people would want to go see an NIT game for the Tigers.
Hard to believe we're having this conversation.
It really is.
And it sure can turn around.
Sure, absolutely.
But it's got to get started turning around tomorrow.
No, tomorrow is huge. I mean, it feels like, Brett, I said it yesterday, it feels like we're, in the movie Groundhog Day, where we wake up and it's the exact same results every single time. But it really seems like every single game for the past 2 weeks now, we've been saying, biggest game is tomorrow, and we were hoping that we can maybe get away from that by them winning games. But now with 4 in a row, tomorrow is the biggest game, because you have to win. You have to get back in that way of winning and try to get things right to even make the NCAA tournament at this point.
Yeah, you look at the bracketology, and you see a team like Florida right now. They're listed as first 4 out. Well, we don't have to do blind resume. Florida's a 36 right now at the net. Well, it's not going down, even in a lot of losing for Florida.
Exactly.
If they just won a little bit, I mean, you can't seriously take a 36 net over Memphis at 77. Mm-mm. And Florida won at Rupp Arena.
Sure, absolutely, and looked good doing it. No, I mean, right now, on KenPom, Florida's 32. Memphis is sitting, very similarly to the net. Memphis is sitting at 72 right now, and so it's just.
You're not going to win that debate in that committee room.
No, I mean, there are so many metrics that the committee looks at, and we can act like they don't look at these different metrics, but they do. And
well, if they don't, why are they on the committee? And why do we have them?
Exactly. And so, I've heard that argument a lot this year of, they don't look at this, they're not going to look at that. They're looking at everything, and they take in a lot of different things. You got to be looking at something. And so, I
mean, not just go up and hit the mini bar in the room and have a big week.
Right, yeah, and I mean, teams do not make the NCAA tournament as a, just getting in and at large with a, lower than 70 KenPom or net. I mean, it just doesn't happen. And so now, and I think Penny Hardaway talked about it, he kind of mentioned it yesterday when he met with the media of, we got to win the AAC tournament now. I mean, it went from our non-conference is everything, and we'll just, we'll breeze through the conference to, we got to win the conference tournament now to make the tournament.
Wichita State 158 today at the net. It won't move that much by tomorrow's tip. Mm-mm. And you talk about what he said earlier. Let's remember what he said 1 week ago.
Literally 1 week ago.
Literally 1 week ago, the media get together before the weekend, still talking Final Four.
Good point, Brett. Really good point. I mean, I just don't understand it. And, you look up, and now since those comments, 2 losses and 2 games that you did not play well at all. It wasn't like you were in control, late run by the opposing team, and they come down and drill, or like last night we saw in Nebraska and Wisconsin, where Wisconsin's in cruise control at half, and Nebraska goes on an unbelievable run at the end of the game and wins it in overtime. These were teams that just went out and beat you.
Yeah, and Nebraska is another one of those teams listed in the last 4 in with Memphis, Nebraska, Boise State, and Colorado, according to Joe Lunardi. And you're right, you got to go out and win. You got to win these games. These last 2 games, all the worst loss, worst conference loss, worst conference home loss, all that speculation, I think we can agree on 2 of the worst efforts in Tiger basketball history. Both of them bad defensively. Against Rice, bad offensively and defensively.
No, you're right. I mean, this team does not look anything like it looked in non-conference play. In that stretch where you go on the road to Texas A&M, then come back 2 games against Clemson and Virginia. I mean, this team is night and day different from what it looked like in non-conference play. So tomorrow, definitely an important game and an early one to start the day on Saturday.
I do think the absence of Caleb Mills has certainly affected the team.
Yes.
But let's don't make him into Keith Lee.
Right.
Especially when we had so many sell us that garbage in September and October of 10, 11 men, 1 ball. Sure. How are we going to play everybody? And what are we down to now? Legitimately, you can count on 4?
Yeah, I would say so.
I mean, you see – well, let's do this real quick. Confidence or no confidence, you see Jalen Young go in.
Not much confidence.
Carl Sharon-Font.
No confidence.
Caleb Mills is hurt. Yeah. Jacon Walton.
A little bit, sure.
That didn't sound real confident, but I'll count it.
Okay.
Javon Quinterly, yes.
Yes.
And boy, we both jumped on that, do we?
I still do. Yes,
okay,
I still do. I think he gets a little tunnel vision sometimes, but I'm confident.
Jaden Hardaway, Jonathan Pierre. No. Ashton Hardaway, no. Nicholas Jourdain.
I like Jourdain.
Okay.
I'm confident.
So what are we up to, 3?
3, yeah.
Naquan Tomlin, 4.
Sure, yeah.
Okay, David Jones, 5.
Jones, of course.
Malcolm Dandridge, 6.
I mean.
So we're down to 6. So we've gone from 19 to 6.
And I think some people would probably argue and say fewer on that.
I would too.
I think a lot. So I mean, you're down to 5 or 6 guys when, like you said at the beginning of the year,
kind of a composite. Give me a little bit of this guy and a little bit of that guy, and it makes one guy. I kind of count on.
And Brett, we had before the season started, we had 2 players named preseason conference rookies of the year. And one of them's not on the team anymore, and the other has, really struggled to get playing time this year.
I get a lot preseason wrong. Like the next week, the Los Angeles Chargers aren't going to be in the Super Bowl.
Right.
I get a lot wrong preseason. That was a big whiff.
That was
that.
Not just naming one player, naming 2 players.
They don't go to the scores table.
Yeah. One so much that he decided to transfer because he wasn't going to the scores table. So it is a very interesting situation the Tigers find themselves in, and they've got to be on their A game tomorrow against Wichita State. Well, let me set up today's show before we get to top and not top story of the day. 3:30, Alan Bell from the AB3, also driving the line, will join us to talk wagering. A lot to get to. We'll talk a lot of basketball, but we'll also get to a lot of football, some hirings that we haven't talked about with him. We'll get to that. We'll also talk some early leans on the Super Bowl next week. 3:45, the Grizzlies, they were in action last night against the Cavs. We'll talk about that. Also right back in action tonight against the Warriors. So we'll talk a lot of Grizzlies at 3:45. 4 o'clock, Bruce Marshall from Vegas Insider, CBS Sports, and BAMSports.net. He'll join us to talk some more wagering. 4:30, we'll get to Ty Richardson from ESPN Arkansas. He'll join us to talk the SEC and also the Razorbacks. 4:45, we'll get to big number of the day. 5 o'clock, Jason Munns, the Tiger basketball beat writer over at the Commercial Appeal. He'll join us, and we'll get to a lot of Tigers. What's going wrong, this 4-game losing streak, and the big game tomorrow against Wichita State. And as always, Jason Munns presented by Jim's Place Grill in Collierville. 5:30, we'll get to what's trending. At 5:45, we'll wrap up today's show like we always do with Taco Bell Crunch Time. Let me remind you, we're in our Family Leisure studio where family and fun come together. And get over there now for the floor model sale. All floor model patio sets are priced to move. Wicker sofa set under $2,000. Closeout patio cushions as low as $25. Pool tables under $1,500. Theater seating under $2,000. 4-person hot tubs now under $5,000, and infrared and traditional steam saunas now 25% off. Get ready for summer and purchase your above-ground pool right now to get first in line for installation. The special financing is also still available, but get over there. Family Leisure, 2120 Witten Road, just north of I-40.
He's Bryant, I'm Brett, and we're with you until 6 o'clock, and you can join us at 901-360-8255. This hour of our show brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Great offers on all 2024 models and always special leasing options. Drive in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. The one and only Lexus dealership in town. You can call them at 901-334-9673, but they want you to stop by Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2024 flagship LS500, and you'll be looking and you'll be driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and they make for the luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, Brett, my top story of the day has to be the Tigers' big game tomorrow noon inside FedEx Forum on CBS against Wichita State. We know what happened last time the Tigers played Wichita State, but I've been saying, I said it last week before the Tigers had lost 4 in a row, but this game worries me because of how they won in Wichita. It really worries me for tomorrow's game. A lot of people forget Tigers were only up by 3 at half when they were playing in Wichita, and it was a really back and forth first half. The Tigers would go and score, and Wichita State would come right back down and answer. Now, they were playing in front of their home fans. It was a very different environment for Wichita State, but the Tigers shot lights out from 3 in that second half. It seemed like every single shot they threw up went in. Well, we saw what happened Wednesday night against Rice. Nothing went in from deep. I mean, they were getting deep into the second half without making their first 3-pointers. Now, they did make 1. They made 2. They kind of got into a groove late in the game, but it wasn't enough to put away Rice. And, Brett, we're to the point, if you can't put away Rice, who can you put away? Who can you beat? When you look at, me and Dave were talking about this earlier, and he kind of laid out Wichita State. They've really struggled this year. They've only won 1 conference game. They're really low in the net. You know what that reminds me of? Rice, a team that we just saw on Wednesday, and we saw this Tiger team struggle with.
Can't discount anyone.
You can't. And I'm really excited to talk to Jason in a couple of hours because I want his thoughts on that starting lineup that we saw Wednesday night because I just did not understand it at all. Why are you going with those guys? A guy that, I think is a good guy. When I hear him talk to the media, I think a really good guy. I think a good basketball player, but Jonathan Pierre has not seen the floor at all this year. I mean, he's averaging, with that start yesterday, he's averaging about 4.5 minutes a game, and you start him.
That sent no message.
I mean, it did not send any message, and if this team is having issues behind, I think that almost hurts it more than it helps it. So I just didn't understand that, but it makes up for, or it sets up for tomorrow being a must-win for this Tiger team.
My top story is the busy week at FedEx Forum continues for both teams with Memphis on the front of the jersey. Tonight with the Grizzlies versus our good old buddies from the Bay Area, the San Francisco Warriors. Yeah, the San Francisco Warriors. You couldn't make them go back and play a game in Oakland for any reason. They've abandoned East Bay. They wanted to, and that's who they really are, the San Francisco Warriors. They would not go back and play even one time across the Bay. And tomorrow afternoon, starting at noon, the Wichita State Wheat Shockers in town for a rematch of the Valley years. The Grizzlies lost at home on Monday at FedEx Forum. The Tigers lost on Wednesday night. The Grizzlies lost last night. Tonight, the Grizzlies with a tall task against the Warriors. Tigers, for many reasons, must win tomorrow on CBS.
Yeah.
Or we could be looking at an 0 for a week.
Holy cow, that's hard. That's really hard to believe.
Not top story of the day.
Well, my not top story of the day is the Grizzlies. We talked about their move yesterday, kind of broke right before we got out of here at 6 o'clock, but Steven Adams TYFYS, thank you for your service here. I think even though he was not here for a really long time, I think leaves as one of the more beloved Grizzlies to the fan base. They really took him in and just kind of his play style, that gritty, I'm just going to go up and get rebounds, do the dirty work.
And
I think
we were
people
predisposed to not like it.
Absolutely, and I think
the past.
Right, which is even more surprising that people fell in love with him like they did. But now he's going down to Houston, reunite with Dylan Brooks. And in return, Victor Oladipo, a handful of second-round picks.
Don't buy an Oladipo jersey.
No. I would not go out and buy a Oladipo jersey. But last night,
I don't know if you can buy a Steve Adams jersey in Houston.
That's another really good point. But last night we did see the Grizzlies in action. And, Brett, we talked about it off air. It's what we kind of should expect for this team. They're gonna fight. They're gonna play hard. They're gonna make it entertaining.
The building's into it.
They are, but then at the end, it's just gonna slip out of their fingers. But I will say this: Jemison, the big center they have on a 10-day contract, I really liked his game last night. Hope we see more of him tonight against the Warriors. But it's fun right now watching this Grizzlies team, and I can't say the same thing about the Tigers.
My not top story: a whole new tone and tenor could develop tomorrow at FedEx Forum.
Yeah.
I'm not encouraging it. I hope it doesn't get to where people would even think about doing it. But the idea of booing tomorrow exists. You said you were told there were some the other night.
Yeah, I heard someone say that there was
rampant.
Yeah, I think it was just someone that was sitting in a section said that people around them started booing late in the game or like early in the second half. But it wasn't like the entire forum.
More
booing.
in shock, more numb from the other night. But sloppy play, poor effort, and Penny just standing there like he often does, it could have some booing. We had booing at football last year.
We did.
And we know, famously, Brady White booed roughly during an AAC championship football game.
Yeah.
Penny won't like the booing.
Yeah, no, he will not. Memphis' last two quarterbacks have been booed in games. Brady White, Seth Hennigan got booed during one game, was asked about it after the game by the media. It's interesting. And
I don't know many that would like the booing.
No.
But he particularly won't like it.
He won't like it. Brett, and you bring that up about Penny just standing on the sidelines. I heard someone the other day, or maybe it was on social media, I saw him, that said Penny really needs to go out there and get a technical and show the fans how into it he is. I've heard that since Penny took the job. Penny needs to go out and get a technical so that he can show people that he really means it. And that's not Penny. It's not going to happen. And we should know that by now. But that'll do it for top and not top story of the day. Let's get to our first break. And when we come back, we're talking wagering with Alan Bell.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Guns, guns, and more guns. Over 700 firearms in stock. Home defense guns, old guns, new guns, used guns, big guns, little guns. Every gun you can think of, Classic Arms has them. All brands like Glock, Sig, Colt, Ruger, Smith & Wesson, Browning, Beretta, Benelli, Remington, Winchester, and more. Guaranteed lowest prices in town. Only gun importer in the Mid-South. Free gun inspections and appraisals and free bore sighting for the upcoming deer season. Shop online at ClassicArmsOfMemphis.com or visit Classic Arms at 1740 Germantown Parkway behind Corky's Barbecue in Cordova.
Roofs, roofs, and more roofs. Chris Price here with Metro Builders. Is your roof leaking? Do you have mold stains on the ceiling of your home or business? Is your carrier denying your claim or offering a repair simply because they don't have enough documentation? You need a contractor that performs work for insurance claims for policyholders each and every day, and Metro Builders is here to assist. Call Metro Builders. At Metro Builders, we provide free estimates, consultation, and claim repairs. Metro Builders' process of arriving, inspecting, diagnosing problems, and estimating is second to none, commercial and residential. Our team of Hague-certified technicians are standing by to assist you with providing estimates and photos to your carrier to document your loss. All you owe is what your policy states. No large fees on top of the final scope. We use high-grade materials and are certified by companies like Atlas, CertainTeed, Owens Corning, and Mulehide with labor warranties up to 50 years on all of our jobs. Metro Builders provides roof repairs across the Mid-South. Call Metro Builders to schedule your inspection free. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717. 1717.
At Edwin Watts Golf Shops, there's something that binds us all. The collective goal to transcend the ordinary. Introducing the all-new TaylorMade QI10 Max Driver, combining TaylorMade distance with the forgiveness of 10K inertia. Experience your drives in 10K. Visit us in-store for a free custom fitting at your local Edwin Watts Golf Shops, or shop us online at worldwidegolf.com. Get there.
For the latest from the world of golf, tune in every Saturday morning from 9 to 11 for the Golf Shop Radio Show, presented by PlayGolfMyrtleBeach.com, the golf capital of the world. Hosts Mark Greenhelge and Matt Blanchard talk golf from tee to green and everything in between. If you like golf, you're going to love Golf Shop Radio. Before you tee up, drop on in. Welcome to the Golf Shop here on Sports 56. Real sports talk.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets, with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli, with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Brian and Brett with you in our Family Leisure Studios. And joining us now, talk some wagering, Alan Bell from the AB3, also driving the line. You can find daily over on YouTube. Alan, thanks so much for joining us. I want to get to some early talk on the Super Bowl, what happened this weekend in the NFL, but I do got to ask you about some of these hires in the NFL, specifically the Commanders. They go out and hire Cowboys defensive coordinator Dan Quinn. A lot of talk about Dan Quinn, especially after that last Cowboys game against the Packers, where the defense really did not look anything like it had looked most of the season. What do you make of this hire for the Commanders? And now for the Cowboys, where do you think they go for a defensive coordinator?
Yeah, man. So first, I appreciate you guys having me back.
Thank you.
You know, the funny part is, you know, when a coach gets hired, in the playoffs, it's generally not off of a good game, right? Like you see Dan Quinn, Washington, you see, Mike McDonald, the Ravens defensive coordinator, going to Seattle. You know, after the Ravens defense didn't exactly look great, but that's just the nature of the beast, right? So we don't want to judge off of one game. Look, Dan Quinn's a good football coach.
And only one team can end the year winning.
That's right.
Exactly, right? Like, you know, it's tough to have that perfect ending, right? Dan Quinn's been around, and I'm fascinated to see what it looks like the second time around here. I'm surprised. I really thought that Ben Johnson, the offensive coordinator for the Lions, would be the guy to get that job, but you never know. Washington might have really tried to hire him, and it just didn't make sense for him. You know, we don't know, and we likely never will. So can't really think about that. But, you know, Dan Quinn, good guy, respected around the league. You could certainly do a lot worse than him.
He's been to a Super Bowl.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying, right? Like,
unfortunately, he had overtime in that Super Bowl.
yeah, right. Like, think about anything in life, too, right? Like, you do something for the first time ever, it's usually pretty hard. Second time around, you're like, okay, I've got a little bit better of a feel on this, you know, so all we can do is wait and see.
It's like dancing. It's only one way to get better. You got to dance.
That's right.
Here's the class of 2020 24 new coaches. Antonio Pierce he will have senior status, taking over in the middle of the year in Las Vegas. Gerard Mayo in New England, Brian Callahan in Nashville with the Titans, Jim Harbaugh famously in Los Angeles with the Chargers, Dave Canales with Carolina, Raheem Morris with Atlanta, Mike McDonald with Seattle, Dan Quinn with Washington. Everybody's going to have Harbaugh being the first to win a Super Bowl. Who's second? Let's give Harbaugh his. Who wins the second one out of the class of 2024?
Man, that's tough. The second one to win? Give me my man Pierce over there in Las Vegas. I kind of
really?
like the
good one. That would be popular, too. A lot of Raider fans.
It would be right now. The tough part is you have an owner who kind of has a foot in another dimension.
Yeah.
But
he's nuts.
I like
you put
Pierce,
it in a nice way.
Yeah, right. Like I like Pierce. I like his attitude. I'm surprised that it took Las Vegas that long to hire him.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, right? But you do your due diligence, whatever. I like Pierce a lot. And that's nothing negative against the other coaches. It's just a lot of unknown. Right, like we spoke about Dan Quinn, so we'll see. He has experience, but somebody like Callahan, with the Tennessee Titans, who knows? Like we don't know. There's really nothing to hang a hat on. Not only from a head coaching spot, but he wasn't calling plays in Cincinnati, right? So we really don't know about him. I think McDonald with the Seahawks certainly has one of the better situations to walk into. Because you have an established front office who knows what it's doing. You have pieces there, and Pete Carroll went out with a winning record. It's not like, that team is picking first overall, right? So he's certainly got a shot. And Washington has a shot. They've got pieces there too. But, yeah, man, I'll take Pierce on that one. What about you? What are your thoughts?
I like that. I wouldn't argue against that. You made a great case, and the Raiders, proud franchise that are kind of to mostly really do. Last Friday with us, you went 6-4 on the air with picks, with props, sides, totals, all the fun stuff. It took your NFL yearly total to 52-28. That's 650. College football 42-36, 538 for the year. 94-64, 594 picking.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Anything
in the prop world you want people to get out there and get on right now for Big Game Sunday. And Brian and I went over the mountain of prop bets.
Yeah, there's a ton of them. First off, let me say this, all right? So they're like star players and prop bets. They're not going to go down, the numbers. So whatever you're going to get on, if you're playing it over, do it now. Do not wait because they're only going to go up. If you're playing unders, wait. You'll have some really nice ones. But I think that you look at Patrick Mahomes' pass completions. I think the number sits around 25.5. I really like that. Patrick Mahomes' rushing attempts is over 4.5. Really, really like that. We've played that throughout the playoffs here. Remember, kneel downs count as rush attempts as well. Yep. So, over 4.5, I really, really like that one. Brock Purdy, over 11.5 rushing yards. I think that you're going to see him really use his legs and get out there. Not saying, he's going to look like Mike Vick back there, but the kid can run. He's more athletic than we give him credit for.
So you think Tim Smith's Super Bowl rushing record is safe with Brock Purdy?
Yeah, it's a good question. I'll say the last one, Brock Purdy interception. Take it over half an interception. I think that's around even money. And, new quarterbacks in the Super Bowl. A little bit of a nervous game there.
Okay, I like it. I'm curious, Alan. I remember a bet that you have given to us like the last 2 or 3 Super Bowls. I feel like you give it to us every year that I've been here that you really like. It's like a punting prop. It's like a punt to end in a touchback or something. What prop was that you've given us a couple of times?
Yeah. So there's a couple of them, right? So the opening kickoff, will it be,
that's what it is.
Yeah, will it be I can't think of the word, a touchback or ran out? Take it, ran out. You only get one time to ever do that in your life. And generally remember, those K-balls that they use are hard and stiff. And you might have, be a little nervous if you're walking out there like golf. Yeah, you got to take a driver off the deck right in front of them. 8 trillion people, right? So you might not flush it perfectly. Yeah, kickoff to be taken out 100%, yeah.
Do you remember your favorite prop bet ever, kind of a wild one that hit?
So I'll say this, a lot of times, man, I play over in the total amount of punts that are in the Super Bowl, right? Usually the number's around 6.5. The books have figured it out. The number's like 8.5, almost 9.5 now. It's way too hard to play. But I love playing those because nobody really ever thinks about it. They do. I'll say this, all right? The winning quarterback, I went through the last decade of Super Bowls, okay? There's so much more passing in these games than any other game, all right? The winning quarterback on average over the last decade had 39 pass attempts in the game.
Wow.
The loser had 31. That's 70 pass attempts on average over the last decade. So take a look at passing attempts for quarterbacks. You can really make some money there.
And I know
the kickoff is that's my favorite exotic one.
Yeah.
The opening kickoff.
We'll have a bunch of these next week, and then traditional side in total next week, and a lot of fun with it. But I saw this today: 9 safeties in Super Bowl history, and in those 9 safeties, the team that got the points, that got the benefit of the safety, they're 6-3.
Wow.
So if you get a safety, you're in good shape.
Yeah, and especially, look, the 49ers could do that. I mean, they're going to be bringing the house. Not that the Chiefs don't, but the 49ers, they got some monsters there on the defensive line.
First Super Bowl safety ever was the Steelers sacking Fran Tarkenton in the end zone to start with a 2-0 lead in New Orleans.
Of course, it was Pittsburgh.
Of course, it was the Steel Curtain.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of good prop bets. I'm excited about the Super Bowl. I do got to ask you, Alan, before we run out of time, going over to college basketball, one thing I've noticed this year, and we've talked about it a couple of times on this show, but it is hard to win road basketball games in college. And I've gotten to a point where I'm starting to, if I like a team on the road, I'm just starting to not play the game because of how hard it is to win on the road in college basketball. What have you noticed? I saw a stat that was making its rounds, I think last week, that it was like ranked road teams against unranked teams are winning like 35% of their games right now. What have you seen this year in college basketball when it comes to betting? That is anything standing out to you like that?
Yeah, so you're exactly right. All right, there's a lot of parity in college basketball.
Yeah.
Tough. We just saw, look, we're going to have Tennessee and Kentucky play Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
We just saw both of them lose home games.
That's right.
All right, 2 road conference games in Florida and South Carolina. So going off of what you just said, Tennessee going to Lexington, I am fascinated to see how that game plays out. And I'll say this, take points. All right, when you have teams, big ranked teams, after a loss, especially against the conference team that, not saying anything bad against Florida or South Carolina, certainly not South Carolina, but, games that, these ranked teams probably should win.
Yeah.
That next one out, they flood the paint with points in threes outside of the arc. So take points. Tennessee, Kentucky might be a super high scoring game tomorrow. And you'll see, not just those two, across the board, man. That's generally how they come back, is they fire a ton of threes.
Alan, are you doing Radio Row next week in Vegas?
No, I'm not. Usually we're out there, but taking this one off, kind of excited not to. I mean, it's a fun time. You've done it. You know it.
Yeah.
It's certainly exhausting, though, so it's going to be exciting, man. I'm just telling you. You guys going to be out there?
No, we're not. It's all those things, but it is quite a week, but it is worth it. One of these days, next week, you're going to have a home game for Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be in Nashville one of these days.
Yeah. Yeah, it is, with
At
that
the
new
Dome.
stadium coming. Yeah, absolutely, man. And I tell you what, we're all going to get together and have a bunch of fun, put a bunch of bets in together, man. That'll be a blast.
I love it. Anytime we can make money, I'm down for it. Well, Alan, as always, thanks so much for joining us. And before we let you go, tell people again where they can find you and what you're doing.
Yeah, so find me on YouTube, man, at Driving the Line or at the AB3. Driving the Line, a daily betting show, and so much more. Me, Jonathan Coachman, if you remember him from WWE, or ESPN, SportsCenter. Yeah, the coach, man. Break it down. Steve Scott going over, PGA Tour bets, all kinds of stuff, man. Go to @Driving the Line, check it out. I guarantee that you'll enjoy it.
Alan, thanks so much. We'll do it again next week.
Look forward to it, boys. Yeah, have a great weekend.
Thank you, Alan. Alan Bell with us every Friday, and we will have all the picks next week. But he already with some great ones, with some props like Mahomes and the passing attempts. Mahomes over rushing 4.5 rushes, and kneel downs do count. You don't have to gain a yard. You can't lose. You can't lose much though.
Yeah.
11.5 rushing yards for Purdy, over a half interception, and the opening kickoff, they're going to run it back next week for the big game. You need to make your plans with the commissary. Call 901-754-5540 or go online at commissarybbq.com for more information about this. For any party pack, free wings go with it. How about that? For any party pack, you get that. And then for Valentine's, at either place, you're going to get the slab of ribs, very discounted, about $8 off on that. You're going to have champagne out in Collierville at Houston Levy and Poplar at the Original. You're going to have 2 beers with that. Also a great dessert. So big fun coming up for the big game and for the big day of love for Valentine's at the commissary. Either place, the new Collierville commissary at Houston Levy and Poplar or the Original in Germantown. That great Memphis barbecue done the slow-cooked Memphis way. If you're craving a fast way to get it, text commissary to 33733. Start with the appetizers. You need to plan this for any game-watching parties. Start with the cheese plate, the tamales, the smoked chicken wings, the barbecue nachos, the hit of all sports invented in the early 80s at the Germantown commissary. Dig into the ribs, the shoulder, chopped or pulled, and those party packs. Order it by the pound, 6-pack or an 8-pack or a 12-pack. And save room for dessert like the lemon icebox pie or the banana pudding, the strawberry cakes, all delicious. 901-754-5540 or go online at commissarybbq.com in Collierville and Germantown. And for the party areas, they will be open for the big game next week. Orders to go, catering, tailgating. Perfect place to start all the funds at the commissary. 901-754-5540 or online at commissarybbq.com.
Well, let's get to a break. When we come back, we'll talk about what happened with the Grizzlies last night against the Cavs and tonight's game against the Warriors. That's next on Sports Time.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
It's a new year, and Family Leisure has a new way to bring family and fun together. All you have to do is walk into Family Leisure and look around. All those floor model patio sets you see, those have got to go. So Family Leisure can make room for all the new sets coming. Get a wicker sofa set for under $2,000. Pool tables under $1,500. Theater seating for under $2,000. Hot tubs for $4,000 or just for yourself. If you really want to lounge, they're under $5,000. Need patio cushions? Get them as low as $25. Oh, have you seen those infrared steam saunas? Well, now they and the traditional saunas are 25% off. It may just be the first few weeks of 2024, but that doesn't mean you can't start getting ready for summer. 2 final things. Purchase your above-ground pool now and get first in line for installation, and take advantage of special financing that's available. Family Leisure, Whitten Road and I-40, bringing the family and the fun back together.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
At Grainger, we're for the ones who specialize in saving the day and for the ones who've mastered the art of keeping business moving. We offer industrial-grade supplies for every industry with same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders, all backed by real people ready to help. So you can get the right answers and products right when you need them. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
We're back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you in our Family Leisure studios. And we've talked Tigers, but the Grizzlies were in action last night against the Cleveland Cavaliers. And it was a fun game. It was back and forth.
Fun.
They were up. The fans were into it.
That won't last, though, because we want to win. Now, I think people will be patient with the hand that's dealt.
Sure.
But last night, carbon copy of Monday night. Just right there. And at the end, experience matters.
Sure. And Brett, we were talking about it earlier before we started the show. That Cleveland Cavaliers team is a good team. And they are. They keep getting healthy. They've kind of been dealing with injuries all year long.
They can't win it, but they can make it miserable on people, and they could get to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. When you have a guy like Donovan Mitchell with the way he's playing right now, man, he is a good player. You get some of those guys back. You get Mobley back, and he can be effective. That's gonna be a team that nobody in the Eastern Conference wants to see.
This week with Sacramento on Monday night and Cleveland last night at FedEx Forum, we saw, without the hurricane of controversy and bad luck that hit the Grizzlies, really about a year ago now, coming up later in March rather. So close to a year of a lot of controversy. That's who the Grizzlies would have been.
Right.
They would have been Sacramento or Cleveland.
Yeah. No, they 100% would have, and, it's just really...
But it happened.
It is what it is, and, this year has been so derailed by injuries that, you could never even get back to getting close to that with a healthy roster. But, I do like these guys that are out there. They're playing hard. Last night I thought Gigi played well. Scottie Pippen Jr. played well. I thought this Trey Jemison that they signed on a 10-day, I thought he played really well.
John Conchar played well.
John Conchar played well. These guys are out there fighting and playing hard and giving that effort that, Brett, unfortunately, we did not see a lot of games during those first 25 games of the season when John Morant was out. It was very spotty.
It was really kind of effort one night, not so much the next, and that is very easy to say and very difficult to prove for a talk radio guy to talk effort. But some of those nights it was obvious. They said it.
Yeah.
Their post game quotes were killer about it. Just saw Golden State here. They were here Monday night, January the 15th, and that was the first game back. That was the game on Dr. Martin Luther King Day, and Golden State won that game, and that was Draymond Green's first game back. And okay, so we got an excuse in Memphis of why there's not going to be playoffs this year.
Yeah.
What's Golden State's?
Yeah, it's a good question. I've really struggled this season, and I think some people would maybe say that Draymond Green suspension, but I don't say that. I don't think that's a reason.
It was sideways before that.
Sure, absolutely. And this is a team, the Golden State Warriors, and I know yesterday when we were talking to Keith Smith, he gave a bunch of teams that he thought, to keep an eye on. Golden State Warriors are a team I'm going to keep an eye on because they do have some young pieces that I'm curious what they do with them at the trade deadline.
2 out in the all-important loss column right now for Golden State.
Yeah.
No, this is new math. They're 20-24, and Utah's 24-26. This is when the win column really matters.
Yeah,
the
I guess
loss
so.
column will catch up. I do have an excuse for Golden State.
Okay.
Cornbread Maxwell's right. Father time.
It catches up with everybody, Brett.
Undefeated.
It really does. It is 100%
Banner hangs
undefeated.
everywhere year round.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, and we're seeing and Brett, we've been talking.
Flow doesn't feel right.
No,
Chemistry,
no.
moxie doesn't feel like it. It doesn't even feel like they will seriously challenge for the play-in.
Well, and Brett, you just mentioned with the Grizzlies about their post-game press conferences, they were saying, lack of effort. We've been talking for a couple years now of when will the Warriors dynasty come to an end, and now these guys are talking about it. I know Draymond, when he did his podcast, when he was gearing up to return to basketball, he said that Steve Kerr came to his house and they had a big long meeting, and that Steve Kerr said to him, look, this is about to end. This dynasty, you guys are about to retire, and this is not how you go out. You go out better than this. And so I think all of them know that, the end of their career is much closer than the beginning of their career is.
20 games played for Draymond Green, 41 for Steph Curry, 42 for Klay Thompson.
Mm-hmm. And 43 for Jonathan Kuminga right there behind him. How about that? Jonathan Kuminga's been playing really well lately. But no, I mean, it's caught up to them, and this, just like you said, does not feel like the same Warriors team that we've seen over the past year. Chris Paul, same thing. They kind of took a swing at him in the offseason, and it hasn't really panned out. And so, like I said, I'm curious to see what they do at the trade deadline. I don't think any of these big stars will be moved from there. But
and Keith said zero for Steph Curry.
Zero for Steph Curry. But, I know.
Could you go above that from zero? Could you go to 5%? Just the right deal come along?
I couldn't. Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors.
You buy the LeBron smoke?
I do. I don't think he'll be moved. And so,
I think it's to drive interest.
Yeah, I think so. Which is weird because I never saw anybody really talking about
their
LeBron
win of the
being
year last night.
Certainly, and without LeBron and AD, that was, but 100% the win of the year. I mean, over a Clippers team that is fully healthy.
And that was, a lot of times you've had the excuse of, AD hurt. He hadn't been hurt.
No, he has been. I had
missed last night, but he hadn't been
hurt.
Sure,
I had a stat a couple weeks ago for John Harden of Anthony Davis. Up until that point, in the last 365 days, he had played the most games out of anybody in the NBA. And so,
that's surprising.
It's very surprising. And so, you talk about Anthony Davis and, the injuries that he has had in the past. You definitely can't say that with him. So we need to get to a break, but before we do that, I've got to tell you about Goldcrest 51, Memphis's original beer. It's back, and it will be hitting the shelves and bars on Monday. Goldcrest 51 was first brewed in 1936 by John Wolfgang Shore, but now it's locally made here in Memphis, and it is going to be returning on Monday. Make sure you go and check out Goldcrest 51. Started brewing in 1906 at the Tennessee Brewing Company. Goldcrest became their premium brand, but then Prohibition came around and they had to stop. In 1933, the name was changed to Goldcrest 51 Beer to note the brewery's 51st year of operation. When it closed in 1954, over 3 billion bottles of Goldcrest 51 had been produced. And it's back again, like I mentioned today. You have the opportunity to sip on a cold Goldcrest 51 beer for the first time in over 60 years. Same original recipe, so go get it Monday. Ask for it at your favorite store or restaurant. Just ask for Goldcrest 51. Well, we need to wrap up this hour and get to a break. When we come back, we're talking more wagering with Bruce Marshall.
Hi, this is Jimmy Stovall with Corky's Barbecue. We have been serving up our legendary barbecue for more than 39 years, right here in Memphis, Tennessee. Whether you're dining in, picking up in our drive-thru, or serving our famous barbecue at your office or home, with Corky's Party Pack, you are the hit of the party. Barbecue pulled pork, baked beans, coleslaw, barbecue sauce, and buns, starting at only $8.49 per person. And as you know, we send plenty of food. You never have to worry about running out with Corky.
Uncorked flavor, Corky's Barbecue.
Hi, this is Jimmy Stovall with Corky's Barbecue. We have been serving up our legendary barbecue for more than 39 years, right here in Memphis, Tennessee. Whether you're dining in, picking up in our drive-thru, or serving our famous barbecue at your office or home, with Corky's Party Pack, you are the hit of the party. Barbecue pulled pork, baked beans, coleslaw, barbecue sauce, and buns, starting at only $8.49 per person. And as you know, we send plenty of food. You never have to worry about running out with Corky.
Looking for your next car? Give Car Corner a try. Car Corner, located at 2653 Mount Moriah. They specialize in cars under $15,000. Bad credit? No problem at Car Corner. CarCornerMemphis.com. That's CarCornerMemphis.com. They even have cash cars under $7,000. That's Car Corner at 2653 Mount Moriah. CarCornerMemphis.com. Look for the building with the teal green roof.
When a cold comes on strong, try DayQuil's Severe Honey flavor. The daytime, coughing, aching, stuffy head, fever, honeylicious, power through your day medicine. Powerful cold and flu symptom relief with a honeylicious taste, so a cold won't slow you down. Get back to your day feeling relieved, enjoying the delicious flavor of DayQuil Severe Honey. DayQuil Severe Honey flavor soothes your symptoms with a delicious taste. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. Roofing and siding, gutters too. We're the pros you can trust to get it done right. Call on us. 5-Ash Roofing, the name to know. 5-Ash Roofing, the only way to go. 5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. 5-Ash Roofing.
Is that not the corniest thing you've ever heard? Can you believe I paid good money for that silly jingle? Well, the experts say make it memorable, and I think I got my money's worth. 5-Ash Roof Services, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. 5-Ash Roofing, 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
East Memphis Ace Hardware is more than just a hardware store. It's really a customer service store. With 20 employees along with complete inventory of items, big to little, finding what you need is easy. Choosing from a complete selection of Big Green Egg as well as Traeger and Weber grills. And the Garden Center has everything for your yard. You can get glass cut, repair screens, even new keys with key fob programming. Tools, nuts, bolts, screws, you need it. East Memphis Ace Hardware has it. And they're just down the street at the corner of Quince and White Station. Listen each and every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. and join Ottawild Presbyterian Church for worship. Ottawild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. A minor wreck over to the side over here on 240 westbound at Walnut Grove. It's not causing too much of a backup, but it's over here nonetheless. Better today on 40 East at White Station than it has been the last couple of days. However, I do see some traffic volume over here on 55 northbound between Macklemore and South Parkway, trying to get up through that road construction. Hey, Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64 is your Valentine's Day headquarters. Go see them this weekend. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Joining the guys every Friday is college football historian and Vegas legend Bruce Marshall from Vegas Insiders, CBS Sports, and his own website, bamsports.net. With over 30 years on Memphis radio, with handicapping and sports talk, here's Bruce Marshall with Bryant and Brett.
Bruce Marshall joining us now from Vegas Insider, CBS Sports, and BAMSports.net. Bruce, as always, thanks so much for joining us. What will next week look like in your neck of the woods in Las Vegas?
Bruce, life.
You need to get out of there.
Well, I mean, we have a room for Taylor Swift if she wants to come back for a day.
I think the Bellagio has a 6th-floor suite for her. But thank
you. I think I
can speak for her. Thank you for the kind invitation, Bruce.
Yeah, I know it's going to be kind of wild, and Vegas is sort of. I mean, they've never. I don't want to say they've never had a Super Bowl, but I mean they have big events. They have these. I mean, they have conventions there. They get over 100,000 people into town. But they are gearing up for some all the real festivities start next week. They've got that NFL theme park there. They're going to have nearby at the Mandalay Bay, I believe, which is right adjacent to the stadium. They are putting the teams though out at Lake Las Vegas, which is a little bit out of town. So the teams are going to be headquartered a little bit away from the city, which is probably fine for them. The one's going to be practicing at the Raiders facility, which is very close to where I live, and the other one will be at UNLV, which is really upgraded and has a very nice facility too. So they're ready for it, and it should be kind of fun.
Bruce, Paul Hornung and Max McGee would never make curfew in Vegas.
No, they wouldn't. No, they wouldn't. That's the other thing too, Brett. 7-8 years ago, I mean, first of all, the NFL in Vegas and a Super Bowl ever in Vegas was the furthest thing from anybody's mind. But here we are. Look how much things have changed in less than a decade. Betting on sports, team in Las Vegas, Super Bowl in Vegas. The world has certainly changed.
Baseball on the way. The NBA will soon follow, and the Stanley Cup champions in Las Vegas. Bruce, it really is hard to believe when it was just such the scarlet letter, gambling, and we laughed at that then. Bruce, how we approached it on these airwaves, I can remember in the early days with you in this market, for news information only, we had to, if you're so inclined, we had to really scotch it in that, and the Band-Aid is more than torn off.
Yeah, it is, and there's a lot of different. I had many radio shows I did for years. I did Ron Barr Sports Byline. I'm still doing that one.
I first heard you.
Yeah, and we couldn't talk about point spreads on there for a long time. And a lot of different shows, and in newspapers they didn't put them in there in some places, but many newspapers always did put the odds in there. And I still think the really interesting thing about this whole dynamic is that the NFL joined forces with the federal government, and so did all the other major sports leagues and the NCAA against New Jersey when it was trying to get PASPA overturned, and finally got that thing to the Supreme Court. But every time they tried it in federal district court, in District 3 back in Philadelphia, they got beat. And the sports leagues were all against New Jersey doing this. And as soon as this thing got to the Supreme Court and they reversed the decision, I have never seen a quicker 180 by any entities than the sports leagues. All of a sudden, suddenly embracing it after they went to great extremes to fight sports gaming. It's a remarkable transformation, but it just shows. I don't know what it shows there, but they saw an opportunity for business. It's hypocrisy. It just makes me. I'm still kind of puzzled that they were so adamant against it the whole way. Adam Silver was the one commissioner who was sort of a little bit ahead of the curve here, but the others, it took the Supreme Court to get them to change, and they changed within like 24 hours after that decision a few years ago.
Bruce, next week we'll get into the brass tacks of a lot of picks, and I know you through the years you haven't been the biggest prop guy out there. You like some, but you're very discriminate about those. And we'll get into that next week unless you have something you just love. Last week you were 3-1 with us to take your NFL season total to 43-30. That's 589. That gets you into Cooperstown easily, Bruce. College football for the year 62-59. 504 for the season, 105.89. That's 541 percentage. Really good picking all year from you with us on Friday, and we got to keep it going. If you have some today, and even college basketball, and I just started football, but even into next week. But Bruce, every year, especially in the days at the goal sheet, you would write about the little Super Bowls. And wasn't there a famous one between Detroit and Kansas City back in the day?
It was Chicago and Kansas City.
Chicago,
and,
okay.
That was in the first year of the preseason.
Who did Alex Karras vow he would walk back if they lost?
That was Detroit and Denver.
Okay,
yeah.
I got it confused. I'm sorry.
You're right.
I told Bryant the other day I may have it wrong.
Yeah, that was the first time an NFL team beat an NFL team in '67 in the summer.
Where has Karras made it back to? Are we still charting where he's back to now?
Yeah, well, I know that the radio stations had a lot of fun with that. The next week they said Alex Karras today seen in Omaha, and then he's at Des Moines or whatever.
Yeah.
But by the way, that game was actually played at the old Denver U Stadium. They had like a moon-shaped, crescent-shaped grandstand. It was not played at the Mile High or Bear Stadium, as they called it then. But if you go back and you look, there's a clip you can see on YouTube. Pete Rozelle getting interviewed by Pat Summerall after the first Super Bowl in the locker room, and he is saying, by the way, we're looking forward to this coming summer with preseason games. Several AFL and NFL, we're going to match them up in the preseason, and that was such a big deal in the late '60s. And preseasons never come close to being that exciting. That was more exciting, I thought, than the regular season then, because they played each other, and the teams took it very seriously, especially the AFL teams, but so did the NFL teams. They kept their starters in the game the whole way. Preseason was so different back then, but it was very entertaining those 3 years. A lot of close games that first year. The AFL only won 3 of 16. Denver won 2 of them. The other one was Kansas City blowing out the Bears 66-24. That was the game I referred to a second ago. The second year, the AFL actually won. It was 13-10. The next year they won, and that was the year they experimented with a run or pass for a conversion, not a kick. So all the games, and it was for a 1-point conversion, sort of like what the WFL did.
Wow.
In the mid-'70s. So in '68 they did that. In '69 it was back to traditional stuff. If they played a game in an AFL home stadium, they could go for 2. But the NFL slightly ahead in '69. I think it was 19-13. But it was very colorful stuff for many years, and that's, the Cowboys used to play the Oilers. They'd always play them in Houston, and the thought was
the Governor's Cup.
Yes, and in the '60s they said, there's plenty of Cowboy fans in Houston. There ain't any Oilers fans in Dallas, so we're going to play these games in Houston. So they did. And, of course, the big one was, and the 49ers, Raiders played, the Chargers, Rams played. The Giants and Jets finally got together in '69. They played the game of the Yale Bowl, and that was a very famous preseason game. And the Jets blew out the Giants. But the Giants had resisted playing the Jets those first 2 preseasons, and Green Bay had resisted completely. Green Bay would not play an AFL team in the preseason. But it was quite I still want to write a book about all that stuff. It's getting a long time ago now, though. That's like 55 years ago now.
Sure is a long time ago. Interesting stuff. I'm curious, what were your thoughts on the 49ers and Lions game on Sunday? The Lions go out first half and just play unbelievable football, get the big lead, and then here come the 49ers in the second half. They score, get a turnover, score again. A lot of people have been talking about the decision from Dan Campbell to go for it on 4th down instead of kicking a field goal. What was your biggest takeaway? What were your thoughts on that game on Sunday?
Yeah, the Niners played some rope-a-dope. I saw that written somewhere. All of a sudden they took advantage of every little opportunity there, and they got that long pass to Ayuk was a little bit of a break, but you put it out there, your guy makes a play like that. That's why you got guys like Ayuk. They can make plays on balls that are tipped like that. And they found a way. They kept their poise in the second half. I'm surprised. Purdy's getting a lot of heat from people, and it's just, they want him to be perfect. He's kept his poise. He hasn't been perfect the last couple of weeks, but darn, he's kept his poise late and rallied the 49ers back. And that was very impressive against Green Bay, too. As far as Dan Campbell is concerned, football is a zero-sum game. You're right or you're wrong.
That's it.
And you can't be a little bit right, a little bit wrong. And Detroit missed on those gambles on 4th down. We judge this stuff in retrospect. They were wrong moves. Sorry. Especially at 24, you can't be that avant-garde all the time. You can be selectively avant-garde, I think. But Campbell just got too carried away with this stuff, and the 4th downs are just you take a field goal, 24-10. It's not automatic, but it's certainly within Babs's range. That was the big one, I thought, because then you negated the 49ers just kicked a field goal earlier in the second half, right after in their first possession there. So you sort of take the momentum back away from them. He gave the Niners an opportunity to get back in the game. They took advantage of it. And even at 27-24 to go for it there instead of trying to kick, you judge it if it works. It didn't work. I'm sorry, Campbell. He made mistakes there. That turned to be the wrong move, and that was key to the game.
Do you have any props you love today, and that we could get that out of the way today before next week?
Not yet. I'll look at them more next week. But my old pet peeve about props is the worst thing to do is to watch a Super Bowl with a bunch of people who have bet props, and every play they're screaming about something. So, I've seen some people go really overboard, Bruce, on props.
I don't think there's anything lamer than the big Super Bowl party. It makes New Year's Eve parties look more organic.
Yeah, it does. And, I went last year, I think I went and watched with my grandsons up there, they're little guys, we watched the game with them. And 2 years ago, I was in Florida. With my daughter's place that I was doing. She wasn't even watching the game. I was the only one watching it there. So I'd rather watch it in solitude. And and it's because of the props. I've been to Super Bowl parties, and it's kind of grating. I mean, everybody's betting on these props, so every play they're sort of screaming about something. It's like, it's not a real. It doesn't have a real feel about it. That's why
I've been to 5. It was great. Yep. I've worked a bunch of times at casinos and stuff, game watching parties. Been a lot of fun. I've been to small gatherings that were a lot of fun. But next Sunday, I want to watch the Super Bowl with my legal pad and making notes about the game for a Monday show.
Yeah, that's probably what I'll be doing too.
Today, the news of the Big Ten and the SEC with Greg Sankey and the Big Ten commissioner, they're going to get together, and they're basically going to try to take over and run college sports. And I think college sports will be better off for it. Realignment this summer, I don't think any way realignment can top last summer when we literally had the dissolvement of the Pac-12. But I do think Florida State's on the move. It sounds like North Carolina and Virginia could be on the move. But North Carolina, a little bit ball and chained a little bit by NC State. They're almost being forced by state government officials to whatever they do, they've got to do it with NC State. The SEC has said a hard no to that.
Yeah, and the Big Ten might be more receptive, but there's the NC State thing there too, and this does get political. I remember. Listen, my cousin was in Virginia state politics several years ago when Virginia Tech was petitioning to get in the ACC, and at the start, Virginia was not voting for it, and the politicians in Richmond not so gently told the guys at UVA, no, you're voting to get to take Virginia Tech into the ACC, and just don't even ask about it anymore. So it can get pretty political. But I think there's two things to watch here. One, Florida State's challenge to the media grant and rights deal with the ACC. That's the biggest development coming short term here now, and if it is settled short term, but if Florida State wins, then all of these the conference TV contracts. I mean, if teams can leave without worrying about that angle of it, it weakens the whole conference structure. And I think if that happened, you'd see something with a form of the Pac-12 resurrecting Stanford and Cal coming back, because this is not going to work for them in the ACC. But that's the biggest thing. Secondly, Chip Kelly mentioned this a while back. I think he was talking to McAfee about it. But eventually, the Big Ten and the SEC in the driver's seat. But this thing, for college sports to really work in the realm they're getting into, and they're getting all the equity, the private equity money, talking about it. I've read some of those guys saying this is a great business opportunity, but it's poorly run. It's just made for somebody to come in there and take it over. Eventually, if they want to maximize all this stuff, they are going to have to stop having conferences make their own deals. They're going to have. It's going to have to be like a big NFL, and that's sort of what Chip Kelly was saying. And that's what I think the Big Ten and the SEC have to be asking themselves. Do they want to be the NFL, or do they want this big umbrella to include, the Big 12, ACC, and so forth? We'll see. I don't know how that's going to break down, but eventually this stuff's going to have to be negotiated collectively, and I think that'll be because there's so much money still involved, and the private equity people that are coming in and are going to start investing bigger time in college sports are going to sort of demand that. So you won't see, and especially then if Florida State wins this lawsuit, this legal challenge against the ACC. Keep an eye on all this stuff. This is where this is headed. But the first shoe to fall is going to be this Florida State challenge. If Florida State doesn't win, I'm not sure, that we might not see as much movement. But if Florida State wins, the floodgates open again.
Talking to Bruce Marshall from Vegas Insider, CBS Sports, and BAMSports.net. Well, no football this weekend until next weekend when we have the Super Bowl, but a lot of basketball this weekend, especially college basketball. A really good day of hoops tomorrow and Sunday. Some good games tonight as well. But I've been talking about this all week, and I was talking about it earlier as well. But it seems like this year in particular, very hard to win on the road in college basketball. You're seeing the numbers of ranked teams going on the road to unranked opponents and losing. When you go to handicap these games, have you kind of seen that? Has that changed how you're handicapping some of these games with how teams are struggling on the road?
Well, yeah, it does seem more pronounced this year, Brian, and not just in the big conferences. I mean, in lesser conferences too, and that's not that unique. I mean, it's happened before, but it seems to be a little bit more so this year. But along those same lines, as you mentioned, tomorrow, Kansas is hosting Houston, and I got to check an updated number, but I saw a very, very preliminary number that had Houston as a favorite in that game. Now, I got to see what's going on. If that is the case, Kansas would be an underdog at the Fog for the first time in 35 years.
Holy cow!
Not since Roy Williams' first year, and that was after Danny Manning left, and it was after Larry Brown moved to the NBA, and Oklahoma came in there with Billy Tubbs as the number one ranked team in the country, and won big, but they were laying points, and that was the Stacey King, Mookie Blaylock team. That's 35 years since they've been an underdog at home. So we'll see how that works out. But several big ones tomorrow. We got Tennessee, Kentucky. We got North Carolina and Duke. So we'll test that thing with the home courts tomorrow in these big games for sure.
Do you see an early line on Memphis hosting Wichita State? Because I haven't yet.
I'm checking right now, and I'm still not seeing
12 noon Central tip.
Not seeing any updated numbers coming across yet. Usually by about the top of the hour, we'll start seeing some stuff for Saturday, but I've only seen a handful of games for tomorrow. By the way, a good one in the SEC, South Carolina's at Georgia, and Georgia's a very slight favorite there. We better start taking South Carolina seriously, and I'm assuming they'll get in the rankings this week. I would hope they do after winning that game at Tennessee the other night. I don't know if what they got to do to get in the rankings, but 18-3 beating Kentucky and Tennessee in the last week. But I wonder if they lose that game to Georgia tomorrow, which I don't think they will. But if they did, would the pollsters still keep them out of the top 25? They shouldn't. That's a top 25 team for the Gamecocks.
Yeah, it's going to be a really fun game tomorrow. Is there anything you're looking at tonight in college basketball? Ohio State, Iowa's a good one tonight. I'm kind of looking at Princeton, even though I just said hard to win on the road against Yale, getting 3 points. That's one I've been looking at today. Is there anything you like in college basketball tonight?
Well, that one, the Ivy League has sort of always been the exception. The home courts don't seem to mean as much. That's a good Ivy League game, and those two and Cornell are really good this year. They all three think they got a shot to get in the dance. Princeton, for sure, they beat Yale in the Ivy title game last year. What jumped at me there, I mean, the old Princeton offense has been running at a much higher speed for Mitch Henderson. It's still a lot of the same principles as the Pete Carrill offense from long ago, but they just run a lot higher, faster tempo. These teams are both scoring about 77 points per game, and Yale's got a big 7-footer in there who's also different sort of weapon in the Ivy, but they got this total about 140. I think that's too low, and these teams both score a lot, and Yale's been going over consistently, so I might look over in that one. Speaking of the home road thing, A10 tonight, Dayton against St. Bonaventure. Dayton's at home. St. Bonaventure's on the road. That has been the whole thing with St. Bonaventure. They won one road game. They've lost 3 straight since. They win at home. Dayton Dayton's a good team, and they're kind of fighting with Richmond at the top of the league. I think Dayton might get there. Butler's one more tonight. Butler's not bad. Thad Matta's got all those transfers in the backcourt. They've been close in several games. They've beaten some of the lesser teams in the Big East. There aren't too many of those, but they've beaten them. Creighton is good, but they about laying 10 to Butler. This looks like a close game to me, so I might take Butler tonight.
I like it. Some good games tonight, a really good slate of games tomorrow and Sunday. Bruce, before we let you go, tell people where they can find more of you.
Yeah, check us out at VegasInsider.com. Hey, we got this NBA going really good right now. We're on a 19-6 run.
Wow.
43-19, going back a little bit further. So NBA's been where it's been at for me, at least lately. And plus some college picks. No NHL this weekend with the All-Star Weekend. I've also we'll have some Super Bowl up there, too. Anyway, VegasInsider.com, all my picks there. They're also up there at CBS Sportsline, Sportsline.com. And as we always say, once in a while, I show up there on CBS Sports HQ.
You sure do. And Bruce, on the NBA, has it been mostly plus or minus side, or have you played totals?
More sides, some totals, but there have been a few teams that have been really good to me, like the Knicks. A lot of these teams are streaking, and the Knicks have been playing really good lately. They're not playing tonight, but we got a couple up there for tonight.
NBA totals, well. Bruce, I would rather drive through the Rocky Mountains without my headlights on.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
It's tough.
Thank you, Bruce.
Thanks,
Have a
Bruce.
great weekend.
Okay, you guys too. Thanks.
You got it. Bruce Marshall with us every Friday talking the fun stuff from Vegas. And next Friday, you know what we'll be talking about. It'll be the big game coming up in Las Vegas. Goldcrest Beer began as a brand of Memphis' own Tennessee Brewing Company in 1906. Goldcrest was the brewery's premium brand made with the best ingredients to be found. Shortly after Prohibition ended in 1933, the name was changed to Goldcrest 51 Beer to note the brewery's 51st year of operation. When it closed in 1954, over 3 billion bottles of Goldcrest 51 had been produced. Goldcrest was Memphis's beer, and it is again now. It's back. Today you have the opportunity to sip on a cold Goldcrest 51 beer for the first time in over 60 years. Today's Goldcrest 51 is based on the original recipe, a unique flavor unlike any other beer on the market. Goldcrest 51 beer is made in a time-honored way that creates a brew full of flavor but is not heavy. It's a light beer with taste. Try one for yourself and enjoy the original Memphis beer.
We need to get to a break. When we come back, we're going to talk some more college basketball. Ty Richardson from ESPN Arkansas, he's going to join us to talk the SEC and the Razorbacks. We'll do that next on Sports Time.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also watch us daily with live video of all of our shows on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
Roofs, and more roofs. Chris Price here with Metro Builders. Is your roof leaking? Do you have mold stains on the ceiling of your home or business? Is your carrier denying your claim or offering a repair simply because they don't have enough documentation? You need a contractor that performs work for insurance claims for policyholders each and every day, and Metro Builders is here to assist. Call Metro Builders. At Metro Builders, we provide free estimates, consultation, and claim repairs. Metro Builders' process of arriving, inspecting, diagnosing problems, and estimating is second to none, commercial and residential. Our team of Hague-certified technicians are standing by to assist you with providing estimates and photos to your carrier to document your loss. All you owe is what your policy states. No large fees on top of the final scope. We use high-grade materials and are certified by companies like Atlas, CertainTeed, Owens Corning, and Mulehide with labor warranties up to 50 years on all of our jobs. Metro Builders provides roof repairs across the Mid-South. Call Metro Builders to schedule your inspection free. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717.
At Edwin Watts Golf Shops, there's something that binds us all. The collective goal to transcend the ordinary. Introducing the all-new TaylorMade QI10 Max Driver, combining TaylorMade distance with the forgiveness of 10K inertia. Experience your drives in 10K. Visit us in-store for a free custom fitting at your local Edwin Watts Golf Shops, or shop us online at worldwidegolf.com. Get there.
We don't know who you are. If you're looking for dinner, we don't have any. But at sunrise,
we do have a particular set of skills. Skills we have acquired over the last several years. Skills that will make someone like you breakfast or lunch. If you come to Sunrise for breakfast or lunch, that will be the end of it. But if not, we will look for you. We will find you. And if you want bacon, we will grill it for you.
We all appreciate luxury. We love the newest technology. We want something that sparkles and looks great. Well, I've got it all in one place. It's called Genesis of Olive Branch, right at the corner of Highway 78, that's Lamar, and the first exit in Mississippi, that's Craft Road. Turn left and you will see Genesis of Olive Branch. And right now, you can get the 2024 Genesis GV70 starting at $49,480 with special financing as low as 3.49% on select models. How about the 2024 Genesis GV80? A little bit bigger, starting at $55,995, financing as low as 5.49% with a $2,000 rebate when trading a luxury brand. Call them. They'll even bring you a Genesis at your work or your home for a test drive. They're convinced that when you drive a Genesis, you're going to want one. Call 662-890-6684. Ask for Vinny. Genesis of Olive Branch.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
It's a new year, and Family Leisure has a new way to bring family and fun together. All you have to do is walk into Family Leisure and look around. All those floor model patio sets you see, those have got to go. So Family Leisure can make room for all the new sets coming. Get a wicker sofa set for under $2,000. Pool tables under $1,500. Theater seating for under $2,000. Hot tubs for $4,000 or just for yourself. If you really want to lounge, they're under $5,000. Need patio cushions? Get them as low as $25. Oh, have you seen those infrared steam saunas? Well, now they and the traditional saunas are 25% off. It may just be the first few weeks of 2024, but that doesn't mean you can't start getting ready for summer. Two final things. Purchase your above-ground pool now and get first in line for installation, and take advantage of special financing that's available. Family Leisure, Whitten Road and I-40, bringing the family and the fun back together.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. There's a couple of accidents out here getting some attention, but it's better today than it has been the last couple of days on 40 East over here at White Station as far as road construction's going on. They're not working over there right now. They were moving a wreck earlier on 240 going westbound near Walnut Grove. At times it wants to get heavy coming down through Midtown. Right now on 240 southbound all the way down to Norris. Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64 is your full-service, family-owned jewelry store right here in Memphis. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Time to talk Razorbacks on Sports Time. Joining the guys is Ty Richardson from ESPN Arkansas to talk all things Hogs and SEC. On Twitter X at Ty Sports Radio, here's Ty Richardson with Bryant and Brett.
Come on, all you Razorback fans, let's stand up and call those Hogs!
Ty Richardson joins us from ESPN Arkansas, talk some Razorbacks and the SEC. Ty, thanks so much for joining us. And Arkansas, last game out on the road against Missouri, their winners 91-84, the most points Arkansas has put up in a conference game this season, most points they've put up since putting up 106 against UNC Wilmington. What stood out to you in that game against Missouri, and what went right for Arkansas to pick up their second win in conference?
Brian, is their front court, man. Their front court's out-rebounded both Kentucky and Missouri. I mean, it's one thing to do it against the Tigers, another thing to do it against the Wildcats. Mekhi Mitchell has 31 points and 27 rebounds the last two games. He's been fantastic, and hopefully they can take that type of mentality into a game tomorrow. LSU's got a lot of 6'10 guys. Will Baker's 7'1". You got to come ready to play against these guys in Baton Rouge, especially since they didn't have a midweek game.
and a really early game, and you will be there. Or will you try to get to New Orleans for any Mardi Gras? Has Mardi Gras started? It's close, I know.
I have no idea.
Man, stats I wish. You know what's crazy is people ask me all the time, getting to travel, what's my favorite college town? I will maintain that Athens is probably the best college town in the SEC. Oxford and Auburn are right behind, but I'm personally, my favorite is Baton Rouge. We're going to have fun tonight and obviously wake up a little early tomorrow, but it's kind of like football, man. I don't know how many LSU fans are going to show up for this basketball game. They're not used to waking up before 12, you know?
You name my three favorites. It's Oxford, it's Athens, it's Baton Rouge. You know, when you go down there that you've got on the other team's gear, you're probably gonna get it. But it's good natured, it's fun, and the vibe is very unique.
Yeah, it's a cool town, and so I'm actually with the guy, Stats, that we went to Oxford for football with earlier this season, and I kind of like the pushback and the back and forth. I like when opposing fans give me a little garb, a little jabber. It's just fun. It's the SEC, part of our culture and part of tradition is trash talking, and definitely happens in Baton Rouge. There's no question about it.
Well said. It is, and I love Tiger Stadium. I've never been to a game at PMAC.
Wow, I would have, man. As much as you travel, I would have figured you would have crossed that off your list 10, 20 years ago.
In fact, I've never been inside the building. I've parked out literally right behind it a lot of times, but I've never been inside the building. And it you ought to see what it replaced when they built the Pete Maravich Assembly Center.
Yeah, I heard that their old building was something, and Chuck, who obviously you know the voice of the Razorbacks, was talking. They've had to kind of repair and patch up some things since then. I know, like, Coleman Coliseum's pretty old. You got one or two out of the arenas in the SEC. Ole Miss, of course, has the luxury of, with the Pavilion being one of the newer venues in college basketball and really the Southeastern Conference. So I'm curious. We've seen investment in college basketball with the coaches. Guys, I wonder how many other programs in this league will continue, not just to revamp certain college basketball venues, but build new arenas. Like Bud Walton's going to get a renovation maybe 2025, 2026. I wonder how many other SEC institutions will do something similar.
Who do you think needs it the most? Is it LSU? Is it Bama, as you mentioned, or Georgia?
I think it's Coleman. I think that what Nate Oates has done has given them a reason to actually invest in basketball facilities.
Sure.
I mean, I know Gottfried had that team number one in the country at one point, but I mean, outside of Robert Horry guys, and I know like the team last year, maybe the last couple years, I know players, but I couldn't name you many in the last 20, 30, 40 years Alabama basketball players because they don't have much history.
Right.
I know Wimp Sanderson.
Mostly forgettable.
Yeah, Wimp Sanderson's a legend in his own right, and I understand that, but there's just not like it's so hard to follow that football program and directly after that season. And you know that better than me, Brett.
That's it. That football monster. And I'm told one of the big drawbacks to something brand new and off-site from Coleman is the space issue. You know, to literally keep it on campus, there's not a lot of space, and to do the whole tear it down and play, you know, back on that site it's almost impossible. But you know, you mentioned the Alabama history, never a Final Four.
Yeah, and hopefully it stays that way this year. I know they're 7-1 in conference play right now. They've looked really good as of late. But this team under Nate Oates has performed admirably in the regular season, similar to Tennessee, but hasn't found their postseason stride yet, which I know is irritating to some Alabama fans. But they got a good team this year, and I think at Mississippi State at home tomorrow. Grant Nelson's been one of the biggest additions in college basketball, and they, again, have a good team. But I'll tell you what, maybe the best game tomorrow is, listen, I a lot of respect for Tennessee going into Lexington, but Auburn going into the Pavilion, that's going to be a great game, especially after what happened the first time around the Jungle.
You saw Kentucky in person. Are they a Final Four team this year?
They don't play like a defense, and you can't get to a Final Four without playing D. I know they're young, but the thing with Cal's teams is their defense is usually good at first, but their offense takes some time for chemistry to build together. This team's the opposite, guys. Yeah. Their offense is clicking on all cylinders. Like, they score 80, 90 a game. Like, Arkansas holding them to 63 or whatever it was the anomaly. But this year's team doesn't play a lick of defense. And it's so weird to say that about Kentucky, but it's the best shooting team Cal's ever had, and maybe the worst defensive team that he's ever had, which just doesn't make any sense to me based on what they have on that roster with size and everything.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. And that shooting, that scoring has kind of taken a hit over these last couple of games. Another team that's been really impressive, especially late, and I remember a couple of weeks talking about this team with you because Arkansas was about to play them at home, and that's South Carolina. They now have back-to-back wins over Kentucky and Tennessee, the Tennessee one being on the road in Knoxville. How good is this South Carolina team? I know a lot of people expect for them to be in the top 25 come Monday, but how good is South Carolina's team this year?
Right, Lamont Paris is the coach of the year through this amount of games. I don't think there's any question. They're 6-2 in conference. He's been incredible. They mopped the floor with Kentucky a week or so ago, and you look at what they have on the roster. Like Niecy Johnson wasn't given enough accolades preseason. He's been fantastic. I think it's Scooby Wright, one of their other guards. I mean, they just got BJ back. They've got so many pieces. They just got Studi back after injury.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you think about last season, Memphis guy, C.G. Jackson, like that season was about him and getting him on campus and just kind of trying to build the season around him. This season's about winning.
Yep.
And for Lamont Paris to go where they were last year, they've already surpassed their conference win total from all of last season. That's the coach of the year, and South Carolina is absolutely for real.
I'm with you to this point for Lamont Paris, but next Tuesday night, Ole Miss at South Carolina at Columbia to play the Gamecocks, and that could go a long way to deciding seeding for Nashville, preference in national seeding, and coach of the year between Paris and Beard. Tough game, though, tomorrow for Ole Miss against Auburn, and it's going to be a real challenge. Auburn just put it on Ole Miss 2 weeks ago down on the Plains. They've just got more. They got a better the program that Pearl's got going. They just got more right now than Ole Miss.
Yeah, but let's give Bears some credit at home. They had lost. Go ahead, Brett. Sorry.
Tons of credit. Yeah.
Yeah, I got a weird feeling that Flanagan's going to go off tomorrow. He didn't like what happened in the jungle, and I mean, there's a kid that spent most of his college life at Auburn and elected to follow his dad to Oxford. And I got a feeling that Auburn is going to get smacked around a little bit. Ole Miss, I was talking about Lamont Paris being coach of the year, and I don't want to underestimate what Chris Beard has done in Oxford, because that is not a traditional basketball school either. And what he has managed to do in year one with that school having an undefeated record and really following what Lane Kiffin did at home this season is pretty remarkable. I thought that the Ole Miss fans really latched on, including Lane Kiffin, to what they've done at home this season. That will be a rowdy atmosphere tomorrow, and I'm guessing if you're going, you're going to have a good time.
I'm going to watch on TV. My regular basketball going days are something had to get cut, and that's what got cut.
Hey, listen, man, travel. It takes it out of you. This is the only regular season game I'm attending in Baton Rouge because I've got some Arkansas friends down here. I'll go to Nashville for the tournament, but outside of that, no regular season road games for me.
On the travel, everybody that doesn't do it thinks it's cool and wants to do it. Everybody that does it gets tired from it and has had enough of it.
Well, that's the thing is, I just started this golf club thing, and I told myself I wanted to break 90 this year, and I can't really break 90 if I'm not in town most of the weekend. That's a good point. So less travel, more golf for Ty the rest of the 2024.
Ty, you're going to be amazed, and you will. There was an old golf pro here in Memphis. He used to do a lot of radio with us, the late, great Jimmy Ellison. He said, I can take anybody from 110 to 81, 82, 83, and you will. You're going to get there. But then he would say it takes somebody that really puts the work in to go from 81, 82 to 75, 76.
Yeah, I don't expect to be in the 70s anytime soon, but I'm about the 110 range. So if I can get to,
you will.
Man, I will be over the moon, guys. Yeah. If I shoot 81 at some point in 2024.
I love it. We're going to get there. 2024 is the year of golf for Ty. I'm curious, though, Ty, for the Razorbacks, you're going to be down in Baton Rouge tomorrow for the game against LSU, but then they have a week off before returning home to Bud Walton Arena to play Georgia. Georgia has been kind of a surprise team this year, playing pretty well, 500 in conference. I think 14-7 on the season, has been really, really good at home. For this Arkansas team that has really struggled this season, how important is it to get that week off this coming up week in the midst of conference play?
That's a great question. So if they win tomorrow, then you almost don't want a week off, right? You kind of want to just keep on playing. But if they lose, you want to kind of regather yourself, get your legs back, and go. Arkansas played at 7:30 in Columbia on Wednesday night. LSU, like you mentioned earlier, didn't play this week, so they have that luxury of having fresher legs. So really, I think it's all contingent on what happens tomorrow.
Yeah.
And if they win, I think you kind of want to play Tuesday or Wednesday, keep that streak going. If they don't, so we'll see what happens against LSU. Hopefully, I can say, you know what, they won, and they get a break before playing Georgia, who again tattooed Arkansas earlier this year. Hogs want to get a little revenge after what happened in Athens.
Ty, for the Razorbacks in basketball and for the Memphis Tigers, it's down to one-game seasons. Tigers got to beat Wichita State tomorrow. Razorbacks got to win at PMAC.
Yeah, it's one of those things where Arkansas's 2-6 in the league right now. Stats, you got 10 games left, and fans have seen maybe the best two. It's weird saying in a loss, the best two of the best games of the season, but I mean defensively, they were unbelievable against Kentucky. That's a team averaging 89 points. They held them to, I think, 63. So LSU's not, unbeatable. They're 3-4 in conference. They've lost 3 straight. You can beat these guys tomorrow. It's up for grabs. It's like every other team in life. You got to go out and take it. You got to earn it. And we'll see if these guys in red are able, or I guess they're white or red. I always forget football, basketball, but we'll see if they do it tomorrow.
Yeah, well, it should be a fun one tomorrow. Early one against LSU on ESPN2. Well, Ty, as always, thanks so much for joining us. Enjoy Baton Rouge. We'll do it again next week. Yeah, be safe.
Oh, well, stats, that's always a priority, man. Appreciate it, guys.
Thank you, Ty. Ty Richardson with us from ESPN Arkansas. Down in Baton Rouge, that's great to see all those places. Now, I've never made it to down there for basketball, but it is love. I almost always say that about LSU. I want to beat you.
Yeah.
But you are a lovable bunch, even when it gets wild and crazy.
Yeah, no, it's one on my bucket list for really any sport to go down to Baton Rouge.
I can't wait to get down there for football this year.
Oh, I believe it. And that team, that team's going to be wanting to make improvements. Got to, who's going to be the quarterback down there? I'm guessing it's going to be Nussmeier.
We beat them last year.
Well, Brett, that's the thing. Let's get highlights from last year's season and call it a win and celebrate a win.
LSU fan, I kid.
Yeah, no. But should be fun game tomorrow. An early one, though, for both of those teams, 11 a.m. tomorrow morning. Well, let's go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, it'll be time for Big Number of the Day.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Uncorked flavor, Corky's barbecue.
Hi, this is Jimmy Stovall with Corky's Barbecue. We have been serving up our legendary barbecue for more than 39 years, right here in Memphis, Tennessee. Whether you're dining in, picking up in our drive-thru, or serving our famous barbecue at your office or home, with Corky's Party Pack, you are the hit of the party. Barbecue pulled pork, baked beans, coleslaw, barbecue sauce, and buns, starting at only $8.49 per person. And as you know, we send plenty of food. You never have to worry about running out with Corky.
Uncorked flavor, Corky's barbecue.
Hi, this is Jimmy Stovall with Corky's Barbecue. We have been serving up our legendary barbecue for more than 39 years, right here in Memphis, Tennessee. Whether you're dining in, picking up in our drive-thru, or serving our famous barbecue at your office or home, with Corky's Party Pack, you are the hit of the party. Barbecue pulled pork, baked beans, coleslaw, barbecue sauce, and buns, starting at only $8.49 per person. And as you know, we send plenty of food. You never have to worry about running out with Corky.
If you need glass replaced, there's only one name you need to know. Binswanger Glass, the largest full-service glass company in the U.S. They've been an industry leader for over 145 years. For all your residential, commercial, or auto glass needs, Binswanger Glass is the name you need to know. 24-hour emergency service for all commercial customers, plus a nationwide warranty on all professionally installed glass. Visit Binswanger Glass in Midtown at 340 South Hollywood, across from the Liberty Bowl. Visit binswangerglass.com. Binswanger Glass.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-364-1031 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-364-1031. That's 800-364-1031. What do you have to lose? Call 800-364-1031. Again, 800-364-1031.
The best athletes don't just play the game, they change it. When it comes to investing, Gainbridge is doing the same. Their online platform does things differently because it's designed to put you in charge of growing your own savings. It's intuitive, it's easy, and best of all, it's on your terms. No wonder Gainbridge has earned the trust of 40% repeat customers. It's a better way to invest because it's investing your way. Get started today at Gainbridge.io.
Getting your guaranteed maximum refund with TaxSlayer feels like discovering a refund tree has grown in your backyard.
I'm the refund tree.
Sawing off its branches.
Hey.
Feeding them through a wood chipper.
My branches! My beautiful branches!
And dancing in its refund rain. Start for free and get your guaranteed maximum refund. TaxSlayer. File fearlessly.
Looking for the most thoughtful, most romantic gift for the one you love this Valentine's? At Genesis Diamonds, celebrating love is what we do. Maybe it's a simple pendant, or maybe it's an exquisite, one-of-a-kind designer ring. Genesis can help you pick out the most memorable and special piece of jewelry for the occasion. And to make it even sweeter, now till Valentine's, whether you spend $199 or $199,000, Genesis will give you some chocolates, fresh flowers, and dinner out at no charge. It's a one-stop ultimate Valentine's experience. When you buy any piece of beautiful jewelry, we'll give you a bouquet of beautiful flowers, some yummy chocolates, and a gift card for dinner at Restaurant Iris. So join us at Genesis Diamonds. See our spectacular collection of rings, earrings, pendants, bands, bracelets, and more. Priced from $199 to $199,000. Let our non-commissioned experts help you find that perfect ring that'll warm their heart and, for years to come, be a symbol of your love. And we'll throw in the chocolates, flowers, and dinner as our treat. Happy Valentine's Day from Genesis Diamonds. On Poplar at Perkins Extended. At quantity, see store for details.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Big Daddy.
Hello, Big Brand.
It's a guy, he wants to be big, then he gets big, he doesn't want to be big anymore, then he gets small, but the suit's too big.
Big Daddy.
The big boy.
You're a big guy. I think she's trying to pull a fast one on Big Daddy.
The big number of the day.
Well, Brett, I really like my big number today. It is the number 1,458.
That sounds like a big number.
It's a big number, Brett. And so
you're 1,410 higher than mine.
Wow. All right, I'll take it. My big number today, like I said, 1,458. AP top 10 teams had won 1,458 consecutive games when leading by 16 or more points at halftime. That streak is no more after Nebraska took down number 6 Wisconsin in overtime last night. Easy to do because Wisconsin really took care of business in that first half. The last such loss by an AP top 10 team was by number 6 Kentucky at Mississippi State on January 5th, 2002.
Is that right?
Yeah. I guess so. That's what this said, and I'll take them for their word.
Well, I'm going to go 1,410 less than you. I'm going to go to 48. Super Bowl 48 was the last time the Super Bowl was at a new location. Super Bowl 58 will be in Vegas. Super Bowl 48 was the cold weather outdoor in New York City game. That was the third coldest Super Bowl ever.
Really?
There were two in New Orleans that were both colder than the one in that was before the Superdome played at Tulane Stadium. They were both colder. And now I'm calling, when it was at Super Bowl 50 at Santa Clara, I'm calling that Bay Area.
Right.
Some would say, hey, Palo Alto, Stanford, close enough.
Yeah.
I'm calling it San Francisco Bay Area. So this will be a new one for that. That was Super Bowl 19 between Miami and the 49ers at Stanford at Palo Alto. The next three in New Orleans, in Santa Clara, back to SoFi in L.A., so nothing new in those. Mentioned Alan Bell. He's going to see a Super Bowl in Nashville. You could go and be there.
Absolutely.
You will see that. I don't know if it's in the next tranche after these three that are named. They kind of do it ones and twos, but never 4 or 5 like that. Hadn't been back to Dallas, and they had an unbelievably bad luck. The ice storm of all time hit that Super Bowl week. That was nobody's fault. They kind of got the blame for it.
Yeah, no, they definitely did.
Can't help that.
Yeah, but no, we're gonna see some different spots, and obviously Vegas this year. But no, I think we'll see Nashville eventually.
There are spots that they're never going to. If they didn't go to Lambeau, and a lot of people wanted them to, for sentimentality's sake, for Super Bowl 50.
Yeah.
Lombardi Trophy, the Packers' place in NFL history and lore, they didn't. They're never going there. If they didn't do it then, they're not going there. Chicago to the new dome someday, but they're never going to Soldier Field. Yeah. Even as nice as Gillette Stadium is in New England, they're never going there. They're never going – if Washington built a dome or retractable in the district, I think they could go there. Carolina – when they get their dome that they're talking about, they will go there. How about this one? If they ever try, they're not going to Denver, but if they ever try an outdoor, typically cold weather city again, and I don't know this time of year how bad it is. It looks like it rains every day there. But what about Seattle and that fan base?
Yeah, I mean that'd be a good place to go. But like you said, I mean, it's what everyone says about Seattle weather, it's always raining, and so I don't know if you would want to try to set up a Super Bowl week at a place where the weather's so unpredictable.
Never going to Cincinnati.
No. I mean,
never playing in Pittsburgh.
Well, and
Philadelphia.
like you kind of alluded to. I mean, we've gotten to the point with Super Bowls that they're playing in a dome, and you're not going to see many where it's going to be played outside.
They want it homogenous. They want just zero weather effect. That outdoor cold weather Super Bowl, Peter Edmiston and Will Askew went representing this radio station.
Yeah.
And they were really prepared for the cold and had like heaters like you see on TV for that seating area for Buffalo, between a little bit warmer that day, 48 at kickoff. Peter said, and Will both said, it was like they were sitting in a broiler.
Oh, wow.
They were like in a convection oven.
That sounds miserable.
Yeah.
That does not sound any fun. But, it's going to be a busy week next week. It's going to be fun. And we kind of talked about it a couple of times now, but be careful in Las Vegas.
I think the Super Bowl ought to just get in a routine of New Orleans, SoFi, Vegas.
Yeah.
Houston.
I wouldn't mind that.
And you can't go wrong. The 5 I went to, the one in New Orleans was clearly my favorite. Yeah. And Houston was second.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't mind if they got into some sort of little kind of,
Minneapolis, fifth.
Yeah.
It's just too cold.
Yeah. No, I don't blame you on that. But I wouldn't mind if they got into some sort of rhythm of the same spots. That wouldn't bother me at all. Well, we're at the weekend and only a couple hours for us until we're talking about the weekend. And look, I know you're looking for a night out. Maybe not this weekend, maybe around Valentine's Day, a night out with your loved one. So let me point you into the direction of 117 Prime, located at 117 Union Avenue, opening 4 p.m. daily. 117 Prime offers perfect steaks cooked to your liking over hickory wood for the best flavor in town. And the meat, it's regionally sourced for the best taste, so you don't have to worry about it traveling cross-country like at some of these other steakhouses. Pair your steak with a wine from their award-winning wine menu or switch it up with their wine of the month. Not a fan of beef? No problem. 117 Prime also offers outstanding seafood options like oyster, shrimp, and lobster. Also, get down there right now. Still time to enjoy their happy hour, Tuesday through Saturday from 4 to 6 for the best happy hour that downtown Memphis has to offer. To make reservations, head over to their website, 117prime.com, or give them a call, 901-433-9851. That's 901-433-9851 for our friends over at 117 Prime. Well, we need to get to a break and wrap up our second hour. When we come back, we're going to talk Tiger basketball with the Tiger basketball beat writer over at the Commercial Appeal, Jason Munns. He's next.
Hi, folks. Bob Burkhammer, Sunrise Buick GMC truck. Going to start out the new year buying a new used car truck. Remember, the selection's better and the savings are bigger at Sunrise. Acres of new cars and trucks to choose from. A $5 million used car inventory of late model GM certified cars and trucks. And remember, Sunrise specializes in cars and trucks under $99.95. Don't forget, Sunrise has a financing plan for everybody and specializes in secondary financing. The #1 volume Buick and GMC dealer in the Mid-South. Sunrise, where saving you money is just the way of doing business, partner. Covington Pike, Wolf Chase, and Collierville.
If you're drowning in IRS debt and can't afford to pay, then you need to take advantage of special IRS tax programs that are available and free yourself from IRS collection efforts once and for all. Due to the financial hardship consumers are facing throughout the country, the Internal Revenue Service has made it easier to settle delinquent tax problems. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Take down this number or store it in your cell phone, but call the Community Tax Helpline at 800-254-5040. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back, or even if you have years of unfiled tax returns, there's no need to fear anymore. But you have to call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-254-5040 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-254-5040 for your free consultation and to see if you qualify. That's 800-254-5040.
Roofs, roofs, and more roofs. Chris Price here with Metro Builders. Is your roof leaking? Do you have mold stains on the ceiling of your home or business? Is your carrier denying your claim or offering a repair simply because they don't have enough documentation? You need a contractor that performs work for insurance claims for policyholders each and every day, and Metro Builders is here to assist. Call Metro Builders. At Metro Builders, we provide free estimates, consultation, and claim repairs. Metro Builders' process of arriving, inspecting, diagnosing problems, and estimating is second to none, commercial and residential. Our team of Hague-certified technicians are standing by to assist you with providing estimates and photos to your carrier to document your loss. All you owe is what your policy states. No large fees on top of the final scope. We use high-grade materials and are certified by companies like Atlas, CertainTeed, Owens Corning, and Mulehide with labor warranties up to 50 years on all of our jobs. Metro Builders provides roof repairs across the Mid-South. Call Metro Builders to schedule your inspection free. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717.
Paid actor portrayal.
Life can be so unpredictable. After losing my dad, it made me think about my family if something were to happen to me. I had heard about life insurance through Ethos and how easy it was to get coverage. They were right. In 10 minutes, I was covered. And boom, family protected.
Ethos fast and easy online term life insurance up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your buddy Johnny Radio. I'm here with Mark, the owner of Dyer's, out in Collierville's historic town square, where they've been cooking up them burgers since 1912, the old-fashioned way. Mark, what's going on in life? I see you got your 4 kids with you. What do they love about Dyer's?
Man, they love everything about Dyer's. They love all the great food that we serve, and they really like eating our good food and watching some of their favorite sports.
Braden, what do you like at Dyer's?
I like a bacon burger with fries, a milkshake, and with a Tigers game in the background.
Carter, who's your favorite football team?
The Carolina Panthers, and just with some macaroni with that sounds amazing.
My man Beckham, what's your favorite food over at Dyer's?
We like the double cheeseburgers.
Kinley, what is your favorite dish over at Dyer's?
Daddy's cheeseburgers and the Dallas Cowboys game in the background.
Just remember, everybody, bring your family, bring your friends, bring your team out and eat at our place.
So head on over to Dyer's in Collierville's historic town square.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Hewlett & Dunn, Boot and Jean Company in Collierville. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
1 hour to go on this Friday afternoon, and into the weekend we will go with a lot to do and a lot to watch and a lot of fun this weekend. And we know the stakes are big for the Tigers tomorrow at high noon downtown at FedEx Forum against the Old Valley foe, Wichita State. We will talk with Jason Munns from the Commercial Appeal. He's on the Tiger beat covering all things Tigers basketball for the paper of record, the Commercial Appeal, and it's brought to you every Friday afternoon by Jim's Place Grill. Over 100 years of charcoal grill steaks, over 100 years of celebrations, family time, and lasting memories. The Terrace family with their touch for our community. Recipes that date back to the beginning in downtown to now in Collierville at the railroad tracks at Poplar and Houston Levee. Online at jimsplacegrill.com. Don't forget the E in grill, and get out there and enjoy every steak that's grilled perfectly over an open flame. Come to Jim's Place and taste and see and feel the difference and have that good time. Lunch hours Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Dinner hours Monday through Saturday, 5 p.m. to 9:30. Since 1921, a Memphis landmark. Hard work, values, and dedication to their diners. The Terrace family, they've created a memorable dining experience for you and your loved ones. Lunch menu, the staples like the souffle ma, the shrimp cocktail, crab cakes, and those salad dressings, all homemade. And at dinner, the soups, the seafood, the calamari, and those steaks, fillets, ribeyes, and strips. Fantastic bar area, all at Jim's Place Grill in Collierville, and they bring you Jason Munns every Friday from the Commercial Appeal. Jason, it has been a whirlwind this week. I would say probably the most tumultuous week since you've been on this beat.
Yeah, it feels like that.
You've had a lot of tumult weeks, though.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, when you're talking about, like NCAA investigations and things like that, this feels a little kind of like, I don't know, this feels a little more small potatoes compared to that, because that was a big deal. But in terms of shock value, it's up there, man. If anybody saw this coming,
nobody did.
They need to go to Vegas and live there, because
we talked earlier about the large point spreads for the Tigers. They've only been the underdog 4 times, and at home, I mean, it's 10.5, 11.5, 13.5. The other night was huge. I hadn't seen for tomorrow, but that's got to come down some. But it's not like we were alone here thinking a lot of the Tigers. Vegas is in the business of winning money, and they didn't have 16 out there the other night over Rice for giggles.
No, you're absolutely right. Like, this has come largely out of nowhere. I mean, we sit here and talk about, it was close. It was too close against Vandy. It was too close against Austin Peay. It was too close against Tulsa. It was too close against UTSA. It was too close against SMU. Like, we can say that we kind of saw this coming in a way, but at the same time, anybody who thought that Memphis, despite their struggles over the past month, thought that Memphis would lose at home to Rice, a team that did not, prior to beating Memphis, they only had 6 wins, period. But they were 0-10 against quadrants 1, 2, and 3 opponents.
Wow.
Their 6 wins were all quad 4 wins prior to beating Memphis. And to me, that was just like the icing on a good sugar cookie that sent me on a bad trip to the dentist. Mm-hmm. Like, these last 2 weeks have just been 3, whatever it's been, have just kind of been a nightmare.
Since USF.
Yeah. No, it's
yeah. I mean, but since the second half of USF, actually, right? Because they were up 20 early in the second half, and it feels like a lifetime ago. But the second half, the first half against USF, which looked really good, came immediately after the second half of the Wichita State game in Wichita, which we all remember was like the 60-point second half or whatever it was, 61 points against Wichita State. Like, those might have been two of the better halves of basketball that Memphis has played, at least since beating Virginia on December 19th. And then it was immediately followed by some of the worst, most difficult to watch basketball ever since that first half against South Florida. The second half of South Florida on through where we are now. I can't. It defies reason, and I don't know how to. It doesn't make any sense. The same team, just 2 weeks ago, how far it's gone in the wrong direction as fast as it has is really something to marvel at. I mean, it's kind of mind-blowing.
No, yeah, you're right about that. You reported before the game Wednesday night about the starting lineup changes. We kind of knew that there was going to be something different to the starting five. Penny had kind of been hinting at it over the last couple of days, but we finally got it before the game started. Jonathan Pierre into the starting lineup, Naquan Tomlin into the starting lineup, Nicholas Jourdain out, and also Javon Quinterly out. Both came off the bench. What did you make of those changes? Because I know I was kind of like a lot of people that saw that and thought, why this starting lineup? What did you think when you heard about that was going to be the starting lineup for Rice?
Well, I thought Naquan Tomlin was fine.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, I thought him being inserted in the starting lineup was fine. The thing that I think really was the eyebrow raiser was taking a point guard off the floor and not replacing him with a point guard. Now, I know Jonathan Pierre, obviously not a point guard. He didn't handle point guard duties. It was mainly Jaquan Walton until 3.5 minutes into the game when JQ was finally substituted in. But, you know, I think Penny was just trying something.
Yeah.
I think he just, and that's usually the first thing he goes to when times are tough. And he's probably not alone. The first thing you go to just, I don't know, just shake something loose. Just see if it makes any kind of difference. So I didn't necessarily have an issue with it in principle, but in execution, in the the specifics of it, it was a little bit odd. I don't think Jonathan Pierre did anything wrong.
No,
I didn't think that he played terribly. He was out there for about 3.5 minutes to start the game. He had an offensive rebound. He missed a three-pointer, and he committed a turnover. So, it's about what you expect with Jonathan Pierre. I think, again, the shock value of it was you were taking off Javon Quinterly, not replacing him with a point guard, and taking somebody who's been literally on the end of the bench, Jonathan Pierre, who had 40 minutes of experience, D1 experience, before that game, and putting him in the starting lineup. It seemed extreme, but again, I knew you had a feeling that Penny was going to juggle the lineup at some point, and that just it was that was how it worked. If you don't put Jonathan Pierre out there, I don't know who you do. Maybe Ashton has started a few games this year, but he's struggling. I guess I'm trying to think who else you might would have put out there. Jaden was hurt, so it wasn't going to be him. So I don't know. It seemed strange, but I didn't have a huge issue with it.
Jason, since the South Florida game, since that second half and blowing that 20-point lead, and I know you can't get bogged down with paralysis by all the analysis because you're right there. You've got a job to do, and you do it very well. But what you see and what you hear, what has been the fairest criticism of Coach Hardaway, and what's been something that's just pure rot? I started the show yesterday, or when was the loss? Wednesday night?
Wednesday.
I started the show yesterday. He's not going to be fired. He shouldn't be fired. But what's the fairest criticism, and what's the utter ridiculousness you've heard?
I would say probably the fairest thing is maybe whatever people are saying about his substitution patterns. That's kind of my thing at this point. Like, he was substituting at a pretty alarming rate in the first half against Rice. It was rapid fire there for a while, and I know, you're trying to close a gap at the end of the first half. Like, he was treating the end of the first half like it was the end of the game. It felt like, like he was.
Oh yeah, he was running offense defense there late in the first half.
Exactly, and so like I understand that played into it a little bit. You're trying to make sure that you're not going into halftime down double digits against Rice at home. So like I kind of get you there, but before that, it just felt like it was this really, really frenetic subbing, and all we've been hearing over the last couple of weeks is how there's this lack of cohesion with the team, this lack of chemistry. And I gotta say, like, one of the best ways to build chemistry and to establish cohesion is to let people play together for longer and not have just this revolving door of lineups every couple of minutes or every minute. And so, for me, I say that's a fair criticism. And it's been one of the criticisms. It's been something that people kind of go to for the last few seasons. In terms of from like unfair, like you, people
take
who
your
are
pick
calling
on the ridiculous.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, I mean, people who are saying that he needs to go and this and that. I don't subscribe to that in the least. I think there are things that there are changes that need to be made. But I don't not Penny Hardaway is not one of them.
Right. I know a lot of people after the game when Coach Hardaway came in and talked to y'all, he made a comment about that included Naquan Tomlin that I think a lot of people have been talking about since that game, because a lot of people are talking about when did the problem start, what happened, and a lot of people are going back to, Vanderbilt was really the first game that they didn't play great. They struggled against Vanderbilt even though it was a win, and then since then they really haven't looked like the team in non-conference. Well, then after the game against Rice, Penny Hardaway said something along the lines of, we really haven't been able to get into a rhythm since we added Naquan Tomlin, and then kind of added, I don't really understand it because he's such a great player. What did you make of that comment, and do you think there's anything to that? I know a lot of people have been saying, well, Penny was trying to confirm that Naquan Tomlin's addition has been the issue with this team.
Nope, don't subscribe to that either. In fact, I think we're probably going to see more of Naquan Tomlin moving forward. He started and played pretty well the other night. I think that people are probably reading too much into, or trying to read too much into something that Penny said. Just something. It was something he said. Maybe he misstated it or didn't state it very clearly enough. But no, I've seen and heard the same things, that people are really trying to find something tangible that they can put their finger on and say this is when things started to go wrong. And I just don't believe that it's got anything. I mean, certainly adding anybody midstream is going to alter the dynamic. Like it just is. And so that's part of the reason why I say it doesn't have anything to do with Naquan Tomlin, because again, it's not Naquan Tomlin. It's just adding another body to the mix halfway through. The other thing is, so the issues kind of started around the Vanderbilt game. Well, listen, they had just got finished beating Texas A&M, Clemson, and Virginia in a row, riding as high as they've ridden. You were kind of due for a letdown. You know what I mean? Like you were probably going to get a letdown. You're coming back home. It's against a team that's not very good, and then that's followed up immediately with the P game, and so like you were due for a letdown, is what I'm saying. Like, they had run through this gauntlet and everybody was praising them. It's only natural, I'm saying. So, and then the very next game after Austin Peay was the game where Caleb Mills got hurt at Tulsa. And so I think that, threw another log onto the fire that had been started. And
now we got an inferno.
Yeah, exactly. So no, I don't. I think that people are trying to. I think that's a reach to say that all this stuff is largely that Naquan Tomlin is somehow largely responsible for the inferno.
Jason DeMar, two guys, they have to come through. Who are they?
Yep. I would say Javon Quinterly and Naquan Tomlin.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, like I think that would be my two, and I just say that because
and they've got to come through on both ends.
Yeah.
Yeah, like what you're going to get with David Jones. You're going to get up and down. You're going to get a lot of points probably, and then you're going to get a few rebounds, and you're going to get some bad with him. His defense isn't great, and he turns the ball over a lot.
Yep.
But you're going to get with that from him. So you can kind of count on that. I just don't think that, like, let's say Jaquan Walton goes out and puts up 25 points. I don't think that's going to be the reason why you win. If you win, even if he puts up 30 points, I don't think that's going to be the reason why you win. I think Javon Quinterly and, if I got to pick a second one, Naquan Tomlin, I think them playing well would mean more to winning the game than any other two players. And I include Malcolm Dandridge in that because the man's playing out of his mind and they're still losing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you need. Javon Quinterly is clearly a key. He's got to cut down on the turnovers. He's got to, when he takes threes, he needs to hit more of them than he misses.
Yep.
He's shooting 22% from the 3-point line in the last 4 games.
He's got to get in front of somebody on defense.
That too. So yeah, he's a big key. But then also, I think if they can be intentional about getting Naquan Tomlin more involved, and I kind of think they are going to do that, then it could really help stabilize things, because he would give them like another go-to guy type, like David Jones and Javon Quinterly.
Yeah. Last thing for you, Jason, real quick. What do you expect tomorrow against Wichita State? I was telling Brett earlier, I'm nervous for tomorrow because of how the Tigers won that game in Wichita State, with just how hot they were shooting. You just mentioned Javon Quinterly. A lot of these guys really struggling from deep. What do you think we see tomorrow against Wichita State?
So I put out my score prediction this morning, and I have Wichita State winning 78-77. And it's more of a symbolic thing. Like, it's funny because I got a text message from somebody this morning asking, because I think I might average picking Memphis to lose like 2 times a season.
Wow.
Since I took over the beat. And so I got kind of ribbed a little bit this morning. Somebody asked me if I was okay because I picked Wichita State to win, and my rationale is I'm going to need to see it first.
Absolutely.
To believe, somebody said, "Do you really think Wichita State's going to win tomorrow?" And I said, "No, but I'm not going to pick Memphis to win until I see something better than what I've seen over the last 2 or 3 weeks. I'm going to have to see it to believe that they are capable of getting the train back on the track."
They lost the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I can reason away losing at Tulane. I can reason away even the South Florida game when there was 150 people in the building.
Yeah.
And you lose by 1 point. I feel like if that game has 10 or 12,000 people in there, they probably win it.
Right.
So whatever, UAB, it's a team that averages 77 points a game, and somehow they scored 97 points. Sometimes it's just not your night. See the Villanova game on Black Friday, but
yeah, really.
When you lose to Rice, you lose the benefit of the doubt until you get it back. And again, for the record, I think Memphis is going to win tomorrow, but I can't actually pick them to win
Right.
until they get off this schneid here.
Jason, we look forward to tomorrow. We know the stakes. They are huge. And we will talk about it next Friday with you. And thank you so much for your time and your reporting.
Thanks, Jason.
I look forward to it. Thank you all for having me.
Thank you, Jason Mons. Have a great weekend. Jason Mons with us every Friday. He's presented to you by Jim's Place Grill, and we look forward to visiting with him. And that is just the legit sober read of where we are, Brian.
Incredible. It really is. I mean, the way things have gone in 2
I'm
weeks.
numb.
I am too. And it's just incredible. And I was looking while we were talking to Jason to see.
I feel like I've been like, what's the channel that for the kids, they dump all the stuff over their heads?
Nickelodeon. They dump all the slime on them.
I've had a slime of Novocaine over my entire body.
Well, Brett,
it's like I've been to the dentist over my entire body.
Literally. I looked while we were talking to Jason to see if we had a line out yet for the Memphis game tomorrow, and they have gone out and put Tulsa and Florida Atlantic line out, which is 5 o'clock tomorrow night,
and
have not Memphis, and that tells me that they do not know where to put this game at because they're lost on this Memphis game.
And I'm not saying this to be alarmist, but I think Vegas is waiting to see who suits up.
Might be a good point as well, yeah.
A lot of teams around college basketball that we're hearing discontent. This hour of our show brought to you every day by Hewlett and Dunn, Boot and Jean on the historic square in Collierville. They've been there since 1961. Charles Hall, he started working there in his teens, and now with his wife Laura, what a great team they are. They own the place, known for all the boots, but also for clothing, accessories, and a cap for any team in any season, and a cowboy hat for any season. Western wear, work boots, safety toe, soft toe, rubber boots. They got the boots for every occasion at Hewlett and Dunn. From head to toe, they have you covered with every name brand imaginable. Dan Post, Ariat, Anderson Bean. Whether for men or women, you will be delighted at Hewlett and Dunn. Men's and women's clothing, jeans, pants, shirts, shorts, outerwear, and the best duckhead collection you'll find anywhere on these 70-degree days. Charles and Laura Hall invite you to 111 North Center Street. You can visit HewlettDunn.com, but they want you to come by and visit them on the square in Collierville. Hats, sunglasses, boot care products, and every area cool team snapback hat you can think of. Like for the Tigers, there will be a lot of those at FedEx Forum tomorrow, for Mississippi State, for Tennessee, Ole Miss, and for the Razorbacks. Travel bag selection, top notch. HewlettDunn.com. Visit and say hello at 111 North Center Street on the square in Collierville at Hewlett and Dunn.
Well, we need to get to a break, Brett. It's sad. No Friday football forecast today with no football games.
Not until August 29th.
Wow, incredible. I mean, it is always sad. It goes just like that. I mean, that football season, it goes fast. But let's get to a break, and when we come back, we'll talk about what's trending.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
We all appreciate luxury. We love the newest technology. We want something that sparkles and looks great. Well, I've got it all in one place. It's called Genesis of Olive Branch, right at the corner of Highway 78, that's Lamar, and the first exit in Mississippi, that's Craft Road. Turn left and you will see Genesis of Olive Branch. And right now, you can get the 2024 Genesis GV70 starting at $49,480 with special financing as low as 3.49% on select models. How about the 2024 Genesis GV80? A little bit bigger, starting at $55,995, financing as low as 5.49% with a $2,000 rebate when trading a luxury brand. Call them. They'll even bring you a Genesis at your work or your home for a test drive. They're convinced that when you drive a Genesis, you're going to want one. Call 662-890-6684. Ask for Vinny. Genesis of Olive Branch.
Step up your wings game at East Coast Wings & Grill. With 60 wing flavors and 7 heat indexes, do you have what it takes to turn the heat on your wings up to insanity? East Coast Wings & Grill is family-friendly with a large variety menu to satisfy the whole bunch. Sign up today for their loyalty program and taste the rewards. For every $1 you spend, you collect a point. Earn 100 points and receive a $5 reward. Next to Lowe's off Highway 64 in Bartlett, come try America's best wings at East Coast Wings and Grill.
What does it feel like to file with TaxSlayer and get your guaranteed maximum refund? It feels like the last level of a video game, facing off against the final boss who stands between you and your refund.
All your refund is belong to me.
Using the power of TaxSlayer like a secret power-up he doesn't see coming.
Only the most tax-confident can defeat me.
Throwing your laptop at his video game face and watching him crumble into a giant pile of shiny coin tax refunds.
Oh, not fair. You use TaxSlayer.
Save up to 80% when you file with TaxSlayer. Start for free.
This is Sheldon Rosengarten with Marks Bensdorf Realtors. I'm often called Shell Done because I sell homes and work with buyers and I get the job done. There are 7 keys to successfully selling your home quickly at a great price. First, call me. I do my research and advise you on preparation, presentation, and proper pricing that gets you the activity to get the best price. Follow my advice and it can happen. I did mention 7 keys to a successful sale, didn't I? Well, if you use the first key, calling or emailing me, you really don't need the next 6 keys. Remember, that's Sheldon Rosengarten at 483-0546 or MemphisRelocate.com. If you don't need me now, write it down for later or for a friend. That's Sheldon at 483-0546 at MemphisRelocate.com. Do it now, and who knows, you may hear your home advertised here. Remember, as bad a golfer as I am, when selling homes, Shell Done gets it done.
Listen each and every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. and join Ottawild Presbyterian Church for worship. Ottawild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
Admit it. When you start thinking about tastes of Memphis, you think treats, sweets. You think Dinstall's. For 122 years now. What is that, 5 generations? When people wanted something to bring to a party that will just make everybody happy, they bring out Dinstall's. 122 years of Cashew Crunch, of Heavenly Hash, of Turtlettes, of their award-winning fudge. That's worldwide. It's known that well. Then there's the milk chocolate. It all starts there. There's the double-dip peanuts. And then every fall, those famous chocolate-covered strawberries with that fondant. And they won't tell you what's in the fondant, but it makes it oh so special. And easy to get to. 5 locations. There's where they make the candies in Pleasant View. There's Germantown. There's Collierville. There's even one downtown and in my neck of the woods in Laurelwood. You know what? 122 years made in Memphis and enjoyed by the whole world. Dinstall's.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. It's still running pretty heavy over here on 240 East up by Poplar as you make your way up towards Walnut Grove. It's just been really slow the last few minutes on 240 East from Mill Branch all the way out to 385. Still very heavy, trying to filter down out of Midtown right now on 240 southbound as you come past Union all the way down to Norris, headed south of Memphis on 55 down through DeSoto County. Looks good right now. Hey, Weimer's Jewelry located 7525 Highway 64 is your Valentine's Day headquarters. Go see them this weekend. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Jean Company in Collierville. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
So how you like me now? How you like me now? How you like me now?
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you in our Family Leisure studios, and we're getting ready for the weekend. But a couple things I wanted to get to during What's Trending. And Brett, first thing I want to talk about, and it's been a couple days since this news came out, and we haven't talked much about it. But Boston College head coach Jeff Hafley is leaving for the D.C. job with the Green Bay Packers. This came out earlier this week, Monday or Tuesday, and a quote from him was, quote, college coaching has become fundraising, NIL, and recruiting your own team and transfers. There's no time to coach football anymore, which a lot of people...
They're fried.
It's crazy. I mean, it's so much more work. And
Chip Kelly interviewing.
So it looks like a lot of these head coaches are you know, especially the ones that you know are are straight up ball coaches. Mm-hmm. They want to kind of get back to just the basics of coaching football, and Hafley's one of them that's already gotten it. And I've heard over the last couple of days that the Packers were not the only team that were going after him or hoping that he would want to get back into the NFL. So, I know a lot of people, it feels like people are on two sides of this. There are some people that are saying, yeah, that's how coaching has become in college, and there's going to be a lot of coaches that either retire or do something like this, getting back into the NFL. And then there's other people that are saying, well, he knew his time at Boston College was coming close to an end because that team has really struggled lately, and he just tried to get out of there. But very interesting to see that headline earlier this week.
The college games there, and we talked about it earlier with Bruce, with what Big Ten, not Ohio State, with what the Big Ten, the SEC, basically today said, NCAA, step aside. We're going to run college sports, and I bet they run it better. I know a lot of people out there going, yeah, Big taking over. They're going to step on Little. Mm-hmm. I will bet you they treat Little better than the NCAA did.
I believe it.
It will be a good thing in the end of people with real investment in the game, skin in the game, running the show. But I hear that about a lot of these coaches. They're fried, as I said, and they've had enough. Mm-hmm. The Boston College head coaching job will not stay open long. No. Somebody's going to take a swing at it.
Somebody's going to take it. I mean, and that's what you always hear about, this is a bad job. Nobody wants to coach here.
There's 10 wanting.
There is plenty of people that want that shot at coaching in Power 5 and coaching in a conference like the ACC. And so, that job will not stay open long. I'm sure there's a lot of really good candidates for it. And so, no, I mean, it's interesting, but I think both parties are probably pretty happy, especially if you think some people that are saying his time at Boston College was coming close. I'm sure there are some people in that Boston College booster groups and other areas of Boston College that were saying maybe we need a fresh start and someone new to take over.
It's never been easy, but this is a particularly tougher stretch. And on the NFL front, we hadn't gotten to this yet, and I wanted to a little bit. The Jacksonville Jags wanting their cash back from FanDuel.
Yeah.
For the employee that stole up to $22 million.
Yeah.
They have I'm never big on 0 or 100, 0% chance or 100% certainty.
Yeah.
0% chance they get their money back. 100% the Jags say tough luck. or FanDuel says tough luck. I mean, it's almost like I got drunk at the casino. Y'all need to reimburse me.
That's right. Well, I didn't come in here wanting to spend $3,000. I got drunk. Y'all handed me drinks.
I had a $100 limit. Well, I'm sorry.
Exactly.
And look, you gotta know yourself better. And how did the Jags not find that at the $8 million mark?
That's the big question: is how did it get that low?
We're in-house auditors, ombudsman. Mm-hmm. Tattletale, somebody, anybody, pulling a fire alarm going, and I looked up the owner of the Jacksonville Jags, total net worth, Shad Khan. You want to take a swing at it?
I know it's extremely large. I could not even take a guess, but I know it's incredible.
$11.7 billion.
Whew. Wow, that's incredible. I was gonna say like 9, but 11. Holy cow!
And could sell the Jags today.
Yeah.
In a fire sale, just got to get out of town and sell them for $2 billion
easily. I think, yeah.
So I think FanDuel's gonna kind of scoff at the notion of us give you cash back.
Also, Jacksonville Jaguars in gambling lately have kind of go hand in hand. This employee with FanDuel, then you got Calvin Ridley. I know he was with Atlanta when all of this actually happened, but still, I mean, now he's with you. A lot of gambling being thrown around with the Jaguars.
And there's only going to be more around.
Oh,
sports.
Absolutely.
We're going to have, and for this person to wreck his life, wreck his career, embarrass himself and his family, and $22 million.
It's not chump change.
And it's only going to grow, and it will be people that you can never imagine it from.
Yeah.
And it's a fact of life. Some people fall through the cracks.
Oh, no, you're right. And, we talked yesterday about, Alabama's head coach that, we got the kind of transcript of what he said when he was, I guess, on the phone with one of his buddies and said, yeah, hammer LSU. This pitcher is out tonight. Let me know when you place the bet so I can go and tell LSU that our starting pitcher is out. Like that is incredible.
And it was the story. I think Jeremy Schaap did it on ESPN, a feature story. What's his show? Inside the Lines, something like that.
Maybe Outside the Lines.
Inside
or outside.
Whatever. Jeremy Schaap did a big profile on a player that was betting for others. And you know out there, Bryant, there are mules. Mm-hmm. There are people that in locker rooms, certain camps, they're doing it to keep them out of it.
Sure.
There's no way you should ever get involved in that, because then that person, the ability to extort you.
Yes.
Why would you ever let somebody else, do that for you? And there's going to be a lot of trouble, and we're already seeing some of it.
No, you're right, and there's always been kind of those hush-hush stories of, oh yeah, this guy loves gambling on this sport, but he knows he can't do it, so he has his friend do it for him. I mean, that's always been out there, but you're right, it's going to get way bigger.
If you're Mike Slive, or no, not Mike Slive, I'm sorry, the late Mike Slive. If you're Greg Sankey, and the commissioner of the Big Ten, what's the first thing you got to get in order in the house of college sports?
It's like a grocery list of things.
First thing, we got to fundamentally get this right.
I think you got to look at the transfer portal and what it's become.
Eligibility,
mm-hmm. Yeah, that goes hand in hand with it too. Yeah, no, eligibility's got it, and I always hear people say we're getting close. This is the last year of the COVID guys. But I feel like I've heard that for 2 or 3 years now. This is the last
than
year,
COVID existed.
literally, and so hopefully that will help a little bit. But you're right. I mean, it's so hard keeping up with eligibility.
The scholarship will be 5 years, 6 years.
Yeah.
Bruce Marshall said to us several weeks ago that under a new kind of framework, who's to say you there's eligibility requirement. I mean, you can play 7, 8 years.
Well, yeah, and I know Jason Munz, who we just talked to, he did a story, I think last week, and it was a mailbag. Mailbag's very popular.
Very.
And one of the questions in the mailbag was, what is the eligibility of guys on this team? Because just nobody knows anymore, and you don't know when you're picking up a guy, do they have 1 year of eligibility? If they come out of the portal, do they have 1 year? Do they have 2 years? How many years do they have? I mean, it really is a mess right now.
And may not be the first thing they do, but somewhere on that initial list, eligibility, then employee status, that's got to be in there. Then I think we've got to get to scheduling and our conference boundaries that sacred. Do we and especially for non-revenue sports, I'll even use SEC baseball. Do we really have to play everything just inside SEC baseball? Wouldn't it be a little more economically feasible instead of the Arkansas road trip to Gainesville, like they used to when it was kind of a loose confederation?
Yeah.
Designate some games against Oklahoma State as conference games.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be interesting. I think you're going to have something like that, especially when you look at like the Big Ten and how expansion is now for them. I mean, you're going to have USC.
That's a much better example.
And they're going to be traveling to Maryland to play a weekend series. You've got to have something set up where you have a partnership with another conference that's in that area, or something where you can have games, weekday games, a weekend series or something like that, to keep travel down. Because I understand these football teams are flying charter. Most of these men's basketball teams and a lot of women's basketball teams are flying charter. But the golf team isn't. Baseball team isn't. Softball. I mean, it's going to be some places, but not everywhere. And it's going to be tough on a lot of those sports. And nobody's thinking about them right now. But in a year from now, we're going to be really thinking about those guys.
And Title IX is going to stay the law. But will it be as imposed on you if you're pay?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. Yeah, it's Brett. It's a grocery list of things.
It really is,
and it's not going to be easy to really.
Think he'll be first commissioner, won't he?
Yeah, I think has to be. I mean, it would be pretty seamless. I think,
and I think Charlie Hussey will succeed him as commissioner of the SEC.
Yeah. Speaking of going back to the whole gambling thing, I just thought about this. Another thing that we haven't talked about this week, and I don't know if you saw this, but LeBron James now has a partnership with DraftKings. I don't know if you saw this, where he is going to be giving out football picks, NFL football picks, every single weekend in the NFL season. And that shocked me when I saw that. I mean, a current athlete in partnership with a sports book to give plays and stuff like that. I mean, it's crazy. And when we talk about all of these, gambling issues here, gambling issues there, yada yada yada, and you got the biggest star in the game, and he is partnering with one of the largest, I would say, probably one of the two biggest known sports books in America right now.
And not that long ago, just the idea of that. It would ruin you.
Oh, absolutely. And now it's being praised. It's just very, very crazy to me.
And next week in Vegas, and I talked about it in my big number of the day, next week in Vegas, we're going to see the excess that Vegas does better than anybody next week. I mean, when you can pay $10 to go to a buffet and injure yourself, there's a lot of other ways to get injured there too.
Brad, I'm telling you, people are going to have to be careful next week in Vegas, especially all these media folk that are going down there for the week. Oh, it's going to be scary.
And again, everybody's got a camera.
Oh, everybody. And especially in Vegas, there are cameras everywhere. If someone doesn't have a camera, there's a camera somewhere.
But, famous person, somebody pull out that phone.
Yep. Easily.
Wherever you are.
Yeah. No, I mean, you brought that up earlier this week, I think, and you were talking about we're going to get that story next week in Vegas of this, this big name person.
Bruce needs to be getting out of there.
Oh, man, Bruce. This is where when we always talk to Bruce and we're wondering where he is, next week is the prime week of let me get out of here, let me go somewhere else, because I sure do not want to be in Vegas this week. Well, we need to get to a break, but I want to remind you again, Goldcrest 51 beer. Goldcrest beer began as a brand of Memphis-owned Tennessee Brewing Company in 1906. Goldcrest was the brewery's premium brand, made with the best ingredients found, but shortly after Prohibition ended in 1933, the name was changed to Goldcrest 51 beer to note the brewery's 51st year of operation. The brewery closed in 1954. Over 3 billion bottles of Goldcrest 51 had been produced. And Goldcrest beer was Memphis's beer, and it is again. Goldcrest 51, for the first time in over 60 years, it's back. Today's Goldcrest 51 is based on the original recipe, a unique flavor unlike any other beer on the market. Goldcrest 51 is made in a time-honored way that creates a brew full of flavor but is not heavy. It's a light beer with taste. Try one for yourself and enjoy the original Memphis beer. And it'll be back at your restaurants, at your stores on Monday. It will be back, so go make sure you get out and check out Goldcrest 51. Ask for it in all your favorite beer places Monday, February 5th. Well, we need to go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, we'll wrap up today's show with Taco Bell Crunch Time.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Make your next grill your last with the Big Green Egg at East Memphis Ace. Smoke, bake, roast, sear, and grill, all with a lifetime warranty. Ready to cook in only 15 minutes with cook temperatures below 200, above 700, and anywhere in between. Change your at-home cooking experience for life with our unmatched, authentic wood-fired grill flavor that has our customers raving. Get your Big Green Egg and all our accessories at East Memphis Ace on the corner of South White Station and Quince Road.
Hi, this is Troy Fivesh, owner of Fivesh Roof Services. If you need a new roof for your home or business, we hope to hear from you and will work hard to earn your business. We are experts and certified in residential and commercial roofing, siding, and gutter installation. I have been serving the Memphis area for over 20 years, and now with two of my sons working with me, we plan to be here for years to come. So if you need a roof, please give us a call. On a personal note, what a great time it is to be a Memphis sports fan. With the Grizzlies and the Redbirds and 901 FC, not to mention Tigers football and basketball, it's going to be a fun year. Thanks to Coach Silverfield and Coach Hardaway and their staffs for their dedication to the student and athletes, the University of Memphis, the City of Memphis, and us fans. Five Ash Roof Services, a proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Five Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
If you're drowning in IRS debt and can't afford to pay, then you need to take advantage of special IRS tax programs that are available and free yourself from IRS collection efforts once and for all. Due to the financial hardship consumers are facing throughout the country, the Internal Revenue Service has made it easier to settle delinquent tax problems. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Take down this number or store it in your cell phone, but call the Community Tax Helpline at 800-254-5040. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back, or even if you have years of unfiled tax returns, there's no need to fear anymore. But you have to call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-254-5040 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-254-5040 for your free consultation and to see if you qualify. That's 800-254-5040.
For the latest from the world of golf, tune in every Saturday morning from 9 to 11 for the Golf Shop Radio Show, presented by PlayGolfMyrtleBeach.com, the golf capital of the world. Hosts Mark Greenhelge and Matt Blanchard talk golf from tee to green and everything in between. If you like golf, you're going to love Golf Shop Radio. Before you tee up, drop on in. Welcome to the Golf Shop here on Sports 56. Real sports talk.
So you need to sell your house? I have the solution. Call 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Call my buddy Bill at I Buy Houses. Any house, any area, as is. It's literally as simple as that. Just pick up your phone. Call 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Call my buddy Bill at I Buy Houses. Guaranteed to close in 5 days. If you need to sell your house fast, call Bill at 901-406-1101. That's Bill at I Buy Houses.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Hewlett & Dunn, Boot and Jean Company in Collierville. Once again, here are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
If I go crazy, then will you still call me Superman? If I'm alive and well,
this is pretty cool, and we're just getting started, so...
Crazy, folks! Go crazy! This is for all the biggest crunch time. You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye! Hello, Haskell.
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin, this baby is over.
The double steak grilled cheese burrito, so good. Double the steak with nacho cheese sauce, seasoned rice, red strips, sour cream, and the 3-cheese blend wrapped inside a warm flour tortilla, with even more 3-cheese blend grilled on the top. The double steak grilled cheese burrito, it hits the spot now at Taco Bell. And at Taco Bell, when they say they are feeding people's lives with unexpected good, they mean it. Bowl food you can't get anywhere else.
Well, Brett, what I learned today is that last night we had the East-West Shrine Bowl down in Frisco, Texas. The West team won 26-11 in the 99th annual Shrine Bowl. Southern Miss running back Frank
used
Gore
to be played
Jr.
at Palo Alto at Stanford.
Did it really? Wow, I did not know that. But Southern Miss running back Frank Gore Jr., obviously son of Frank Gore, won MVP. But it should be noted, and why it's my top story, or what I learned today, is it should be noted that The Athletic did a post-game kind of write-up of who stood out, and one of the names featured was Memphis running back Blake Watson.
He's going to get drafted.
He is. He had a really good day, and I've been seeing...
4th round, 5th round?
Yeah, I think right there is a good sweet spot
Make the team
for
playing
him.
special teams?
Absolutely. And, this is Blake Watson. I'd heard his name earlier this week of, down there at Shrine Bowl practices that he had been really impressing a lot of people. Sounds like he had a really good half last night, especially catching balls through the air, 6 catches for 65 yards, so showing he has that versatility. Really excited for Blake Watson and what he could do around draft day.
And for people that, the end of the year kind of want to give up on college football, he got better as the year went on. He made himself money. What I learned, Bruce Pearl against Chris Beard tomorrow afternoon in Oxford, about 5 o'clock 2 weeks ago. Bruce Pearl put it on Ole Miss and Chris Beard, and now a chance with the rematch. This is one that if Ole Miss wins this, it really puts NCAA tournament in play. Right now, they're on some last 4 ends, and the seed's not that great at a lot of the bracketology. But this one gets them in firmly if they win this game. This is the month. February is the month that you cement NCAA tournament status.
No, you're right about that. What I could have done with that, I could have gone with the news that the Jaguars are asking FanDuel for their $20 million back.
You ain't getting it.
Yeah, right. Good luck with that. But I'm going to go with the Pro Bowl festivities. Brett, did you even know that last night we had our skills competitions on ESPN?
I'm sorry, Brian. I can't watch grown-ups play hide-and-go-seek, and I can't watch them play dodgeball.
Dodgeball. How about this, though, Brett? I will tell you they had a closest to the pin because they're in Vegas, so they went out there and went on the golf course.
Why don't they try the escape room deal? Might take a while for it to unfold for TV.
But, I mean, that'd be good television, I think. And
why don't we do this? Just scrap the Pro Bowl.
Just get rid of it. But I will say Cowboys had 2 players.
The Pro Bowl was a real game.
Yeah, no, and it's far from it now, and they're trying so bad. And I kind of like the idea of, make these guys personable. You don't ever see their faces. They're always under a helmet on Sundays. True. I like that idea, but I think there's better ways to do that than dodgeball.
Yeah, I do too. And when somebody gets hurt, cutting and playing dodgeball. Wait till a knee shreds.
Yeah.
And that'd be into dodgeball.
But 2 Cowboys closest to the pin champs last night, so we love to see that. I mean,
parade route for that?
Great golfers on the Cowboys.
Do we have a parade for that?
I could get it out of the trash can. Maybe.
I could have done without. Now the LeBron trade talk. And when can he go to a team that they will draft Bronny? Draft Bronny? You got to be kidding me. Here's Bronny's stat line this year. Why would you draft this? 5.6 points, 2.8 rebounds, 2.4 assists. He's triple single digits, and he's only scored in double digits 3 times all year for an 8-13 team. Bronny shouldn't get a free agent tryout right now.
Right. Very young, very raw. Looks like he's questioning every decision he makes. I definitely think needs to come back for another year.
Boy, that USC's a mess.
Oh, Brett. I don't even know.
Did you stay up and watch that last night?
I watched most of it, yeah. I fell asleep late in the second half, but yeah, just very, very ugly. Where are you beaming this weekend?
Tonight, down to FedEx Forum. I wish I was going to Oxford tomorrow. As I said earlier in the week, once upon a time, it would be doubleheader Saturday for me, but those days are over. Tigers, Wichita State at noon at FedEx Forum. Ole Miss and Auburn at 5 in Oxford. I'll just watch on TV and do FedEx Forum tonight.
Beam me to Chapel Hill tomorrow for Duke, North Carolina. Game day's going to be there.
Of course they
7 versus number 3. It's like the Yankees and the Red Sox, the Lakers and any New York or Boston team. When it's Duke and Carolina, they're going to be there, but it should be a really fun game tomorrow night.
And a very heavy Duke influence on game day with Jay Will and Jay Billis.
Yeah, I hope they're not one-sided.
With the 2 J's.
But Jay Williams earlier this season was asked if he had the transfer portal in his day and had to, he said, you can't stay at Duke, you have to enter the transfer portal. What current program and with their current coach, yada, yada, would you transfer to? And he said North Carolina.
Did he?
He did.
Really?
He said, I'm going to make people mad. He goes, but I would pick North Carolina.
That
or maybe, I don't remember if it was today or back then, because he might have said I would have liked to play for those North Carolina teams back
That
in the day.
violates about 10 canons of the Brotherhood.
I was about to say, are you even the Brotherhood anymore? I mean, that's
they'll
risky business.
Take the secret handshake from
They
him.
sure
won't
will.
they?
They sure
I'll
will.
keep a close eye on everything this weekend. Tigers, Wichita State, 7 SEC games.
Yeah.
UT at Rupp against Big Blue. Florida at A&M. State at Coleman versus Alabama, South Carolina at Georgia. 6 of the 7 really good games. Mizzou at Vandy's not. 25 NBA games between now and the time we talk again on Monday.
That's incredible. I mean, if you love basketball, you're getting it this weekend.
Golf at Pebble Beach is going to be very weather marred. Wind, rain, cold.
Yeah, I saw the wind earlier this week, and woo, it was whipping.
Been in the 6 over.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible out there. Oh, Brett, you failed to mention Live starts back this weekend. They teed off earlier today. They sure did.
Where?
How about that? I think they're down in Mexico somewhere.
Isn't it something about Live? We never talk about anything but the ones that signed with them.
That's
After
right.
that, it's like they disappear.
They disappear. They're gone forever.
I mean, we've never done a leading the Live tournament
No,
not one time.
Brett, I had no idea they were starting today, and I saw. I was betting this morning on something, and I went and I looked, and it said Live Golf or something like that, and I clicked it, and it said today at noon, and I was like, oh my gosh, so I went and looked it up. Sure enough, they teed off at 12:30.
I think they have an event in Nashville this year, don't they?
You're kidding.
I think so.
Wow. I'll have to look that up.
Wouldn't go if it was in my front yard.
Yeah, no, I'm curious. I would not expect Nashville would have a big turnout for a Live Golf tournament. That would really, really surprise me if they did. But it is a really good weekend in sports. You've got the Tigers tomorrow at noon against Wichita State, a CBS game. So certainly a marquee game. Hopefully the Tigers can get back in the win column. Like Brett mentioned, a lot of really, really good top 25 matchups starting tomorrow, and even some good ones on Sunday. A ton of NBA action, so a really, really fun weekend. But that's all the time we have today. If you're going down to the Grizz game tonight, be safe, enjoy it, enjoy the weekend. We'll talk to you again Monday afternoon.
Roofs, and more roofs. Chris Price here with Metro Builders. Is your roof leaking? Do you have mold stains on the ceiling of your home or business? Is your carrier denying your claim or offering a repair simply because they don't have enough documentation? You need a contractor that performs work for insurance claims for policyholders each and every day, and Metro Builders is here to assist. Call Metro Builders. At Metro Builders, we provide free estimates, consultation, and claim repairs. Metro Builders' process of arriving, inspecting, diagnosing problems, and estimating is second to none, commercial and residential. Our team of Hague-certified technicians are standing by to assist you with providing estimates and photos to your carrier to document your loss. All you owe is what your policy states. No